Hello everybody and welcome to the Tarda Zone Talks on the Noel Zone. We're here to review Stephen Moffat's latest offering of Boom. And let's just say the fallout has been a bit, it's been a bit spectacular, really. So the ratings have completely nosedived, folks. The excuses are running rampant. Even as far as people to say, well, most people are streaming Doctor Who, but it seems that in streaming services they're not even getting the numbers either. So it looks like that a lot of fans took shoot. He got was a voice when he told them to go and touch grass, because people have tuned out, and so has the British public. So this is the thing. It doesn't matter if the show improves from here on in, the damage is already done. So much so that Jodie Whittaker fans have begun to speak up and demand that fans like us that were complaining about the Whittaker Chibnall era apologise to Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall now, because the ratings are so low. And my message yesterday is the same as it was today. We do not owe Jodie Whittaker or Chris Chibnall an apology. Chris Chibnall and Jodie Whittaker are actually responsible for what's happening right now at this particular moment with the show, because they opened the floodgates for RTD to go and do what he has now done. I also do believe that this was always the plan, and RTD was always going to return, and they used Chris Chibnall to do all of this. So, even the Moffat coming back couldn't save the slide, and it lost another 400,000 viewers in the overnights. But and a D plus on Disney Plus, by the way. But apparently that's brilliant to the ones that are spinning it. So it's been an absolute disaster for Doctor Who and for RTD. And RTD comes out actually with we don't mind that the show has polarized opinion and blah, blah. It's a bit of a weird take that he's come out with. And there's also rumors, and I'm going to dismiss them straight away, because I don't do source information, I never told anybody that I wasn't getting it. I continue to get information. RTD is not getting sacked, right? And all of this article coming out, and YouTube are coming out and claiming RTD has been sacked. He has not been sacked, and he won't be sacked. There's 2 seasons in the can. He is currently on the 3rd season. He said he's writing. He's going nowhere. There's plans for spin-offs. Now, the only way that RTD goes is if they decide to get rid of Bad Wolf, and Disney or BBC, it would have to be BBC, decide that they go with Stephen Moffat and his company. But that's not going to happen either. So for people out there claiming that RTD is going to be sacked, he ain't going anywhere. He's not going to be sacked. Because if you sack him, you get rid of Bad Wolf. And if you get rid of Bad Wolf, then it's BBC and Disney, right? It's BBC and Disney then, right? Do you think this show that BBC are going to allow Disney to call all the shots? That's why RTD and Bad Wolf is in there, right? So people need to cop on. He's not getting sacked, right? No matter how bad this gets. I told you this show is going to be dragged through the mud for 3 years, no matter what, right? No matter what. Okay, so he ain't getting sacked. So people need to stop saying he's getting sacked. And another thing I've heard as well, apparently they're going to make a decision whether they go forward with RTD, which is also bullshit, right? Want to make that clear that they've already got a contract in place to produce 3 seasons. After that, then a decision will be made. Will it be made next year, which some people are claiming? I highly doubt it. It'll probably be the year after. So, there's a lot of bullshit going on out there and a lot of rumors that I can tell you and safely say are bullshit, right? Because because I don't talk about the rumors and speculation and all of this or information, I still receive it, by the way. I just chose not to go down that route anymore because I'm sick and tired of all the abuse that I was getting, even though I turned out to be right the majority of the time. I just don't want to do it anymore. I've no interest in what the plans are for Doctor Who, but for what I've heard, right, and I put up a post that was found on Reddit, is similar to the stuff that I got, right? If it's true what's happening, you can kiss Doctor Who goodbye. It's over anyway. Right? It's over anyway. The whole face of the show that will be irreversibly changed forever, right? And I told you this is anyway last year, right? So if the rumors are true, brace yourselves, get your seatbelts on, because it's going to be a car crash. Anyway, not here alone. I do have my panelists. I've sent out emails to the other two lads, PD and Matt. We'll see if they will be joined. I'm pretty sure PD is probably getting ready and stuff like that. We'll pop in. I've sent the link to Matt as well. If he's interested on coming on, I've sent him a message as well. So we'll see what happens there. But let's bring on our two panelists that we have here at the moment, because I don't want to dwell. I'm not staying on for an hour and a half talking about this shite, right? I'm getting 45 minutes and I'm out of here because I'm done. Right? Stephen Moffat is a prick, right? And RTD is a prick. And this ain't getting any better. And as I said the other day, fans now need to fucking look at themselves in the mirror and say, are we willing to continue to let our standards drop? Right? Or are we going to finally say, you know what, we've had enough of this shite, we demand better? Right? That's where we're at. We're at a crossroads now, folks. Right? Okay? This is not getting any better. Even if 73 yards that they're picking up is slightly better than the first three that we got. Right? It's not going to make a difference. It's not going to make a difference. RTD is not up to the job. He's proven it already. There's 5 episodes dropped. That's including the 60th anniversary. He's written 4 of them. And they've been shy. Right? So if this is the way, look, as I said, it's up to you yourselves. You just want to keep your standards low and just grab the breadcrumbs. That's fine, fair enough. That's not me. And I'm not prepared to do that. So before I even get into Boom, I'm giving Boom a 0. That's my rating. Boom is not, none of these episodes is actually getting a rating off me this year. I'm telling you out straight. They're not getting a rating. They don't deserve a rating because I'm not getting myself all wound up over this or talking about this. I'm going to leave it to the panelists. I don't care anymore, right? I'll do me watch along. I'll come on here, do the review. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't give 2 shits about this anymore. It's Doctor Who in name only. It's not my show. It's not for me. It's not made for me. It's made for all the freaks out there and the degenerates and the stupid people, right? And I want an intelligent sci-fi show. And until I get an intelligent sci-fi show and a well-written sci-fi show, this is not getting a rating off me, right? It's not getting even my opinion on it, right? I saw the episode. It was better than the last 2, but that's not good enough. It's still not good enough. RTD took a swipe at religion. He took a swipe at faith. He took a swipe at loads of things in it. And people seem to be overlooking all of that bullshit, right? This is what you're going to keep getting. You're going to keep getting the messaging, right? It's not going to change. RTD has already explained to you that he's using the show. So if you are happy with that as fans, and you are happy for your shows to be used to push these ideologies and these agendas, well, then I'll have to question whether you are a Doctor Who fan in the first place. Right? And yes, I am angry. I've been very angry today and yesterday, and I feel the anger growing every fucking day. Right? I am not happy right now. Right? There's loads of shit going on. I'm actually in a horrible mood. Right? I actually am. I'm in a horrible mood, right? And I'm not here to sugarcoat this. in any way. I'm not going to defend this bullshit that they call Doctor Who. Stephen Moffat should be ashamed of himself, right? And so should RTD. It's as simple as that. And Shooty, you know, everybody took your advice, you know, but I just want to say you've shot yourself in the foot, because you know what? Even though you were mounting off, people wanted to support you, but I ain't supporting you. I ain't supporting you. As far as I'm concerned, you're not the Doctor. You're Shooty Gatwa, playing Shooty Gatwa. And that's how I'm going to see you from now on. You're not playing the Doctor, right? And by the way, the best episode, apparently, of the series is an episode that Shooty's not actually in. It's all about Millie in 73 yards, right? So that should tell you everything that you need to know. This show is called Doctor Who. It's not called Millie Who or Companion Who, right? It's called Doctor Who. So, you know, if fans keep lowering their standards, this is what you're going to continue to get. So where do you draw the line? Where do you say enough is enough? Because the Timeless Children didn't seem to be enough. The Fugitive Doctor didn't seem to be enough. The Boy Generation didn't seem to be enough. The fact that he's doubling down on all of this doesn't seem to be enough. So what's it going to take for Doctor Who fans to finally say, you know what? This is bullshit. This needs to be called out. This is an air show. What are you fucking doing? Anyway, let's bring on our panelists. Before I say something else that I get myself into trouble for, but you know, messaging is the thing with Doctor Who now. And if you think there's no messaging in 73 yards, I'm pretty sure there will be. You know, I mean, you just randomly mentioned lesbians last week. You know what I mean? I mean, you just can't help themselves. You know, you have to come out with some shite. And I'm sorry. I don't care whether it's toned down or whether it's there, right? And it's going to continue to be there unless we speak up and say, no, we don't want this. This is not Doctor Who. This is not the way Doctor Who should be written. This is not what the show is about, right? So, as I said, if fans keep lowering their standards, I'm going to start questioning this. I really am. I'm not playing anymore. Shackles are off. You just have to stop lowering your standards. Because you are lowering your standards. Because if you look at what he produced in 2005 to what he's producing now, he's definitely lowered your standards. And he's praying and hoping that he gives you even at least one episode where he comes through. Out of 8 episodes, 1. That's not good enough. Anyway, we've got the one and only Queen Charlotte joining us.
Hello, everybody.
We've got Cinnamon Toast Crunch as well. I'm not happy. I'm definitely not happy, and I'm not holding back. Tell. I'm not holding back this week. If people think that's good enough, well, then I have to start questioning this, because that's not good enough. It's not. I mean, it's just another Moffat. We all had hopes for Moffat. I think we all did last week when we were doing the reviews for the other one. We were saying this was the one that we were, you know, and he didn't produce. It's as simple as that. You may have a different opinion. That's fine, but I don't think he produced. So I'll give you my rating now. It's a 0, right? And the next week, 73 yards getting a 0. I'm not even going to get, you know what? Not even going to bother rating it, right? I'm not rating them. It's as simple as that, right? I'm done. I'm done giving him any credit for a little thing that he does. I'm not going to latch on to this. It's not good enough. This isn't sci-fi that we're watching with Doctor Who, right? It's indoctrination, right? It's preaching. And it's shoving an agenda down their throat. And I'm not putting up with it anymore. I put up with it for 5 years with the Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall area. And I'm not lowering my standards for nobody. So I'm done. Anyway, let's see. I just want to see a PD first. See what the story is with him. So I'm going to check on Facebook real quickly, because I don't want to start without any analysts this week.
And Matt, it's ridiculously early for him. It's like 4.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Matt was like, you know, I said to him he could come on, and I said I'd just send him the link. So if Matt shows up, he shows up. If he doesn't, it's no big deal, because it is in the early hours of the morning over there for him, folks. So I'll just see if PD has sent me a message, because he normally does when I send the link. I don't know if he said he was busy this week. I'm pretty sure he didn't say.
Oh, he's in the private chat right now. He's here.
Oh, is he there?
He's just said in the private chat, sorry I'm late.
Oh, no, there he is. Yeah, you popped up. Sorry. I didn't see you there. There you go. I was checking Facebook there.
Sorry about that.
Hello, PT.
You're grand. You must have sneaked in while I was checking fucking Facebook.
Yeah, it never rains when it pours. That's why I've been late. You know what I mean? Oh, the next place full of rain.
Oh, it's finished raining. Rain out.
Anyway. Oh, did you see, guys? Anyone see the latest cinema announcement from the BBC?
Oh, yes.
Oh, so
We won't get into that.
I know. I just saw it and think, oh, they're going to do a Marvel and they're buying up 500 performances. And it's like, oh, the ratings are high in the theatre, but they weren't high on TV. Everyone's going to see theatre plays. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, Disney. We know your playbook. So what I'm going to say.
Anyway,
yeah.
Let's get into this. I want to get this done and over with. So let's. I'll go to you for Charlotte. If there's anything good you've got to say about this episode, I'll keep it short and sweet. There's nothing good about this episode, so I'm done. So you could tell me if you found anything good with this episode, and then the rest of you, then whoever wants to jump in there after Charlotte, you're more than welcome to do so. So what did you like about this story?
I liked that for me, it had a running tension in it. And that's what I was saying. The first two episodes were way too light and there was no stakes. Here, because of the core premise of the mine, and I think even if, because I was chatting with somebody else about this, they were like, yeah, but there wasn't tension. He was never going to die. I said, well, yes, of course, there's that thing of the doctor's probably not going to get killed in the episode. But what I liked is it wasn't so much the tension with him at a point. It was the tension of, is Millie going to die? Are the people around him going to die? With that idea of basically because of him being a complex event, being, he was going to blow up half the planet. So it wasn't just the doctor that sort of had the terrible consequences here. It was everything around him. And for me, that did create that running tension. And I think there's a few moments where I think Moffat did actually write that quite well, when Millie sort of got closer to him to pass the remains for the weight sort of counterbalance. The fact that she was literally putting herself in danger's path, very literally, to do that. She didn't have to get that close. So it was putting a bit more of danger on her. And I think and there's always a little bit more of a chance of a companion getting hurt. So I think that was a good move. I think it showed once again that she's starting to really sort of trust the doctor and want to protect him. You saw a little bit of that last in The Devil's Cord with how she reacted to him being scared. But her to physically put herself next to a mine, basically, I think is showing that she's starting to really become that solid companion that he can rely on this early on, which is really good, I think, to see. And I'm gonna be honest with you. When she got shot, I was really surprised. I was like, I knew she wasn't going to die because we joke that Moffat can't kill anybody to save his life. But the fact that you saw that image, if nothing else, of literally her getting gunned down, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then you saw her basically close to death on the floor for a good chunk of the episode afterwards. And I just think that sort of, and that's what I mean by consequence in this episode. I felt like this was the only episode so far that anything's had any weight, that anything could maybe go a bit awry. I never felt that in the other two. Whereas here, it was like, oh no, she's literally just, like I said, she's just been gunned down. And it was really quick. And for me, I think you have to do that quick. You have to almost do it in a shock tactic. And that's what I think Moffat did quite well. I quite like the new character. Like I said, I'm terrible with names. The woman, the Marine. Yeah, the one who I didn't even realise that was the new companion actress because I hadn't seen her a lot in anything else. So I didn't instantly sort of go, oh, I know her. But as a performance, I think she gave quite a good performance, quite believable. Sort of, I bought when she was being quite harsh. when she was sort of doing the soldier thing of shouting orders to the doctor and being sort of like, no, you listen to me. I mean, she did another thing of like this theme of I quite like the bite here. She literally shot him like 3 times in the arm. So I bought that she was quite no nonsense, and she conveyed that quite well. And then I bought when she was being more soft with the girl, with the daughter that she clearly knew and had a link with, and was quite sort of almost a surrogate mother a little bit, was the vibe. So I think she was like, and I think considering, like I said, she's our companion going forward after Millie, it's a good first impression, really good first impression actress-wise, which I think you sort of needed to, if you're gonna, especially if she's gonna apparently keep appearing now in other roles. My only thing is, I don't want this to be a repeat of Clara. That's the only the thing in the back of my head now. We've literally had the companion appear before, and then we found out why. It's a complicated reason.
Yeah.
So he can't do that again. So if he does, I'm going to be really annoyed. But like I said, we'll see what he's going to do with that, Fred, because we saw that actress again, the older woman, be the face. So he's clearly got a plan there. We just have to see what it is at the end of this series, I think, for at least that character, the older woman. I thought it was quite a good idea, the ambulances. It was very Moffat to sort of take something in our world, the idea of an ambulance on a war field, like a war sort of battlefield setting. And that idea of something that she should be happy to see, and it should be a good thing, and it should be positive, and it literally quite coldly dispatches you. And it literally says, you're not worth keeping alive, was what that whole thing was with the ambulances. And that reminded me of like Moffat when he was being quite harsh. And I like Moffat when he sort of almost got those teeth being shown and he's not being restrained. And that reminded me of that, a little bit of Moffat at it during his run and previously. So I thought and then what also I quite liked was finally I feel like the doctor had to get himself out of this situation. And he actually did. It wasn't circumstances got him out. It wasn't coincidence and chance like he did in Devil's Cord. It was actually the doctor, all chips down, Ruby nearly dead next to him. He's on a mine. And it was literally that new character went, what do we do? Like, it was all on him, and he had to use his intelligence and his brains and his sort of not panic and be that sort of calming, right, we're going to do this. And he did. And I feel like Ncuti really needed that as a doctor now to actually step up to the plate in some way, because he's not been doing that in the other 2 episodes. And I will, when we get more to negatives, I will admit, I think Ncuti should have given a stronger performance in this episode. But that's the scene when he first meets the new companion character, the actress, because I forgot her name off my head, and she's explaining what she's doing and why the war is happening. To me, that's the closest I've seen for Ncuti to sort of be, oh, there's the fury of the Time Lord. Because the way he looked at her and the way he sort of said, and he was very short with her. You got this essence of, this is the doctor at the end of his rope a little bit. And he's just
but then a few minutes later, he starts crying like a blubbering fucking baby.
Well, no, this is my point. No, this is my point. I think he should have had a stronger overall, than kept that energy, because I saw it and then it went, which frustrated me. And I think this was the episode that I think a lot of people were looking to Ncuti to really act and show his strengths here. And in some scenes he did. I think in other scenes he could have been stronger. I will happily admit that. But like I said, I liked that initial exchange he had where he was very short. He was, like I said, that idea of the doctor sort of being utterly, his patient had gone. He didn't like the idea of what the soldiers were there for. He didn't like the waste of life and the idea of profiting off war. And you could see all that in Ncuti's performance for me. And I quite like that. It should have kept at that level. But if we're talking about positives, I actually saw some good stuff from Ncuti here. And that's for me a positive. Because I understand people's issues with Ncuti, I completely do. But like I said before, he needed to have an episode where he was a bit more serious, a bit more sort of not the smiles, not the charm, not the sort of flippantness we've been seeing a lot of his Doctor. And Moffat, I feel like, finally put him in a position where we saw what Ncuti could do in this role if he's given better material to work with. Yes. And I quite liked the whole father-daughter. It wasn't like the best writing ever. I will happily admit that. But for me, I found it as a nice sort of side story that was running through the whole thing of the father. You meeting him, you sort of see his death, you meet the daughter, and then he becomes the AI. And the idea of something survived of wanting to protect his daughter. And Ncuti says, "Your dad, I'm a dad. You'll do anything for that girl." And I think that is actually very true. And I think Moffat does write quite well when he's talking about certain themes. When he talked about death near the end of the episode, I actually found some of that writing quite nice. The idea of him sort of saying, "I don't like faith," and I've got a negative to do with that when we got to negatives. But his sort of ending sentiment of, I might not like faith, but the idea of something living on, he's very in favour of. And that's what survives death, if nothing else. And I think Moffat is very good at doing those themes of death and sort of remembering. And he can actually do it quite deftly and quite well. So for me, that sort of ending sentiment, I quite liked. Yeah, so those are my main positives. They sort of all work together. Yeah, but overall, I will happily say this was one of the first episodes of the new series. I didn't find I was watching the clock. I wasn't doing that. Oh, how long have I been watching this? So, yeah, that's what I said. I quite had a good time with this episode, but there is flaws, which we'll get into later.
Right, go ahead, Cinnamon.
Quite largely the same, really. I love this episode, and I make no apology for it. Is there a few gripes? Okay, yeah. If I really want to be nitpicky, I'm sure I can pick out something.
We'll go to the negatives. Just give me your positives, so we'll get to the negatives, but just try stick with the positives.
Yeah. Again, this is the most needed episode for this Doctor. We've had, I say two, we've had three really, including the Christmas one, where that was lower stakes. It's a Christmas one. You can sort of, let it slide within reason. And then we've got the first two episodes of the actual season, which is where the money is. I was saying, wasn't I believe, this is the time where they need to put them, money where the mouth is. Because this is it. We're well into the shoot we got what era now. So it's time to start delivering on what you've been talking about. And yeah, the first one, silly, not strongest of stories. The second one, and not quite as favourable to me. But again, it was a bit more lower stakes. This is the first time this Doctor's been properly tested. And I think it did that. Again, like Charlotte said, people say, "Oh, well, it was never going to blow up, was he? He was never going to die." Yeah, we know that. But it's how you get there. And it's what you do with it in that time, in that 45 minutes, which is, I'll get onto that later about the time. But, and I did see someone say, would it have been better if Millie was on the landmine? Maybe, for different reasons. But I think the whole point was that he didn't know what landmine was on. He didn't know what he was dealing with. So if it was Millie on it and him looking at it, then I suppose he could diffuse it better. I don't know. But, we'll be here all day if we discuss that. But I just think on a whole, this didn't feel out of place for me. This generally felt like recognizable Doctor Who, and that's coming from me, who said I like Space Babies. This absolutely blows Space Babies apart. This is miles ahead of that. Again, I honestly, I would compare this. I was discussing this with PD. This felt like a sort of Series 10 script. Now, I will say again, we'll stick to the positives, but would this have been better if it was Capaldi in this role? I think Capaldi probably would have sold that performance better. I think he would have. But I'm happy with Shooty because again about the crying. All right, if it's every single episode, he's going to be burst into tears. I will get it. I'll get. I mean, I saw it. I get it now, but like, I will be honest. Does it bother me? Not particularly. Again, if it's every single episode, it will start to become a chore, and it will start to get on my nerves and grate on me because it'd be literally every episode at that point. But I don't mind the Doctor's character being tested. Not every Doctor or every incarnation is going to be as confident or as brash or as again, confident in his ability, as much as others. The fifth and the fourth Doctor are quite stark differences. The fifth Doctor is quite naive and a bit fallible and a bit more prone to mistakes compared to the previous four. And even though he's older, you would logically think he was more experienced. But, and again, I think this is a similar thing. If this is the 12th Doctor, would he be crying? No, probably wouldn't. No, I think we'd all pretty much unanimous on that. But it isn't the 12th Doctor, it's the 15th Doctor. And again, the point I was trying to make on Centiphere is that I get it, people have an issue with the whole crying thing, but I try and sort of separate that as each in particular incarnation. Now, yes, we know the whole point of it is that each incarnation, it's the same character. That's the whole point of the show. It doesn't matter how many regenerations, it's the same Doctor, same Time Lord. But I look at it as almost every incarnation is a different person. So I don't try and often compare. Well, that Doctor was all right with it. Again, people used to criticize the End of Time and say, "Oh, why is he having such a problem with regeneration now? We've done it multiple times before. Why is he all of a sudden having a big meltdown about it now?" Well, he's a different person. Maybe the others could accept it more. And again, adrenaline. This isn't like he's just been shot, although he was shot in the episode. But this isn't like he can't regenerate from this. If he gets blown up, I mean, we saw what it did to the guy. He became the bomb, and then it evaporated him. It wasn't really a bomb, in terms of blowing up, but he kind of sucked him in or whatever into a tube. You can't regenerate from that.
The thing is with this bomb.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say the thing is with this bomb, it actually made you part of the explosion, didn't it? And that's sort of what made the stakes sort of work. I would say.
Again, it wasn't like. I mean, we briefly touched it before. I mean, when we had Problem Being on, I think he mentioned, he was on a landmine before, in Genesis. Yeah, it's true. I knew that was, that was a 2-minute scene, if that, extrapolated into a whole full episode. But again, if it was just a regular landmine, I could understand that point. But again, it's a different, because he plays with the idea, and it isn't just him and Ruby on their own. Again, it gets worse and worse and worse. Because then you've got some kid freaking out because the dad's just died, and that's stressing him out. And then you've got this soldier, Mundy, who's then barking orders at him. And then you've got all the ambulances that turned up. And then the whole thing about him, blowing up the planet, which did throw me off a little bit. Because that bit about, I'm a complex space-time event and all that. That, again, I don't know if that was just the way I interpreted that scene. But it almost sounded to me like he was threatening to blow up the planet. Although I knew that's obviously not what he meant, but do you know what I mean? Like when I watched that back, I just thought, well, is he saying he's going to? Like, oh, what? So I don't know. Maybe that was, maybe that could have been. Maybe that's just me, but maybe that could have been handled slightly better. And there's another thing that could have been handled slightly better. But again, we'll get onto that in the negatives. But honest to God, like I say, this is the episode that I think Shooty needed. It's the episode that I wanted because this is the episode that I'm most looking forward to. And my biggest worry now is that delivered everything for me. It really did. I mean, even the messaging, was the messaging there? Yeah. Was the messaging more obvious in this episode than the previous two? Yeah. I think it was definitely more in your face and it wasn't Space Babies. Now, is it woke? Some people are going to say yes, and fair enough. I would say, for once, it actually benefits the story. Whether you like the message or not, fair enough. But again, I will say that I do believe it actually serves the story, because if you take it out, I don't think the story would work. The whole thing about them fighting themselves and all that. I don't think it would work if you took that out, honestly. And again, I think Noel actually compared this to Oxygen, because we've been in this path before. Again, funny enough, that actually Series 10, a bit of a link there. And again with the lesbian line, there was a lot of lesbian references in Series 10. Clearly, Moffat hasn't got it out of his system yet. But yeah, I think even, like I said, I think even the messaging at least serves the story to some degree. I'm honestly struggling to find things that I dislike. There are a few points, and I will get onto those. But there's really a few things that I have issue with. I thought Shooty delivered a better performance. I think I wanted to see him tested. I like all the larking about, the Mickey taking, all the honey and the babes. I can get past that. But you've had 3 episodes of that now. It's time to play the Doctor. It's time to get into the serious stuff. It's time to show us what you can do. And I know he can do it, because he can, because I've watched Sex Education, and there's some scenes in that where he's pretty traumatized and he's going through a lot. Not obviously for different reasons, and it's a different show, but he can do it. He's got the chops. He can absolutely do it. But like I said, the one thing I'm actually worried about is because that episode delivered everything that I wanted. So my worry now is that it from now on? Have I reached, for me personally, have I reached the highest of the height? And is the rest of it going to be not as same as that? Is the rest of it not going to be as good? Because I'm going to be honest, I watched the Next Time trailer, and I was quite looking forward to 73 yards. It was boom and 73 yards. I thought, oh, that's quite interesting. I saw the Next Time trailer, and I've got to be honest, it didn't actually excite me all that much. It didn't seem like the Doctor's actually in it, which again, that'll be another negative. But for an 8-episode season, why are we still having Doctor Light episodes? I don't know. We'll get into that, I suppose. But yeah, in terms of rating,
no, you don't have to give the rating yet. You don't have to give your rating yet. Hold on to your rating. You can give your rating at the end. I just gave mine because I can't be arsed. Right? And I get what you are saying. I just don't agree with you. So I got to be honest. I just can't fathom how this is being praised. This isn't Doctor Who on any shape or form. I had the whole capitalism and war, all of this crap. The same usual tired tropes that he's used before, though. He's used these tropes before as well. This is nothing new for Moffat. It's the same shit again. It's just, obviously it's under Disney brand now, but it's the same shit that he did before. And I'm sorry, we need better. We need fresh ideas, not the same capitalism is bad and faith is bad and religion is bad and all of this other fucking shite that he wants to insert into it. No, I'm sorry, I can't agree with any of you today, and I won't be. But at the end of the day, you are entitled to your opinions. I just don't agree, which is 100%, and I'm not going to lie or just. This is a 0 out of 10. This is not Doctor Who. So, to hope that you get little bits here and there, and you've even said it yourself, well, if that episode is this the episode now, the rest is going to be shite. You shouldn't be thinking like that as a Doctor Who fan. You should be, like me, we should be saying after that last episode, oh yeah, right, let's go. Let's bring it on. The next one's going to be great. But we don't know. And a Dr. Light episode, again, you've mentioned it, 8 episodes, you're having a Dr. Light episode. To me, it's not work. I think the ratings are actually reflecting that now. I think people have just gotten to the point where I'm at, where it doesn't matter what they do, right? It doesn't matter what they do, and if we get little bits of great moments here and there, it's not good enough. It's not going to be good enough, and fans are not going to accept this. I do believe the younger fans, in fairness, will like this more than older fans like myself. But again, I don't really have respect for today's generation anyway. So I'll just say it out straight. The majority of them are morons, and they'll watch literally anything that they're shoveled. Like, you shovel shit to them, they'll eat it. You know what I mean? But PD, anyway, go on. You give me your positives before we get into the negatives, if you have any.
Okay, it was nice to see the clerics again. Who become they're not the Anglican clerics this time. They become the part of the papal mainframe. It kind of carries on the Moffat canon a bit. It was nice to see a more gritty episode, even though we know the Doctor's got infinite regenerations, and if he goes bang, he'll regenerate into someone else. We can only hope. It was a nice. How do you put it? How do they call bottle episode? It was as I said, as Rabbi said.
Episodes now, aren't they, at the minute?
It's a bottle episode, mate. Yeah.
But it's really only one set if you think about it.
Yeah, there's only one set, so it's a bottle episode. They only got a TARDIS. They'll brief it in a TARDIS, and you're in a crater for the rest of the episode, or around the crater. Yeah, so it's a massive bottle episode. But I mean, Rabbi said, this is like the best episode we've seen, like since like bloody since the end of Capaldi. But I'll come back to that bit now because it's not, I
would agree.
It's not all
All
good.
right, but hang on. I'll ask this question then, right? Because you're saying it's better since Peter Capaldi, right? So here's a question I'll ask you all, right? And you guys in the chat, you tell me a Peter Capaldi episode that's worse than Boom.
None of them.
Exactly.
For me, I got one straight away.
We're talking about Jodie Whittaker in the past episodes.
No more.
Wait, what?
We were talking about Peter. We're not talking about season 10. After that, we're talking about Jodie Whittaker's season, and we're talking about the last of the specials and what's just become before.
I'd actually disagree with you. I think there's certain Jodie Whittaker episodes that are better than the episodes we've gotten.
Seriously, man.
Yeah, I'd watch The Power of the Doctor over this.
I would not. Sorry, for me.
Legend of the Sea Devils. I'd give Legend of the Sea Devils a go again. I think Legend of the Sea Devils is actually better than Boom. It's better than any. I'm sorry, but you have lowered your standards. I'll say
no.
You have been indoctrinated the last 5 years, and you have lowered your standards. It's not Doctor Who. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to play this game anymore. Right? It's not good enough. It's not good enough.
A ton of shitty children.
Right? I would watch that over what we've seen. I'm sorry, but they're better episodes. They're better episodes. They are. Chibnall is actually shown that he's the better writer out of the two of them right now. And I can't believe I'm saying that. Right? I would watch Series 14 again over any of this shite that he's put out.
I've got pokers in my eyes.
No, for me, Shooty is working as a doctor. That would be anything of Jodie, because not in a single Jodie episode did I believe her. I didn't believe her companions. I didn't believe her relationship with her companions. I think Millie and Shooty have good chemistry. I'm buying them as a doctor companion. That will be anything of Jodie's run, hands down. Because I disagree. That is the core of this show. The doctor.
I do agree that they have chemistry, right? But I don't see Shooty as the doctor. Shooty is not playing the doctor. Shooty is playing Shooty Gatwa. He's not playing the doctor.
Which is fair dues. I completely understand. But for me, he's working. So I think you need to understand that's why, for some of us, we're not lowering our standards. We're actually enjoying what we do enjoy so far. We've got issues. God, have I got issues with the writing. I will say that.
I got it.
But I can't condemn it all.
You can sit there and you can criticise Russell, and you can even criticise Shooty. I've said it myself. I think a lot of what is in Shooty's head is cotton wool. I think a lot of these articles that are coming out saying, "Oh, well, it's sad for them, isn't it? Oh, it's sad for those fans." Well, is it? Because Shooty, he says, "Oh, it's so inconsequential for those fans that are focusing on about race." He said it's so inconsequential.
Yeah,
if it's so small, why are they doing nothing but banging on about it? That's all we're getting from Russell. That's all we're getting from Shooty. Oh, it's all this, DEI, equity. All about inclusion. If it's such a small issue, the shoe bang on about it a lot. So I'll happily criticise that. I will criticise the ratings. I will criticise how ridiculous these shorter times that we're getting. Maybe that's entitlement. I don't know. Maybe people will tell me. I've got a lot of issues.
There's no wrong with entitlement. I think as Doctor Who fans, we are entitled after what we've got in the last 5-6 years. The standard should be much better than this. And someone has said it in the chat there. If we accept the crumbs of good with the heaps of trash, they will continue to make the trash. And that's exactly what they will do. They will continue to make trash. It's not good enough. I know there's little bits dotted in this that we all like, right? In all of the episodes,
but it's
that's
not little
good
bits.
enough. It's not good enough because
But
the
it's
story
writing,
is
also,
not
you don't
there.
have to
The agenda
worry.
is being forced, and if you're forcing the agenda, then the story writing and the character development is suffering, and it is. And Shuey is not playing a doctor; he's playing himself. He wanted to play a doctor. He's been told not to play the doctor. He's not playing the doctor. There's nothing doctory about him. Right? He's a blubbering mess. She should carry fucking Kleenex, man-sized Kleenex fucking tissues with her when she's fucking going out on the adventures with him. He can't stop trying. He's the biggest fucking whinge bag I've ever fucking came across.
Yeah. I'll give you that one,
Right,
mate. Yeah,
it's not little bits.
I
There's
think
actually core bits I
little
like.
Bits, it's the member berries that are in Power of the Doctor. That's little bits for me, because that's a whole chaotic, awful paced episode that is relying on a bit of nostalgia. That's bits. I don't think a Doctor working for me is bits. I don't think a decent, actually solid script is bits. I don't think where if you got a message in, if it works to the story, is that bits? I don't know. And I know what it takes to have a good episode. I know what good episodes are. Midnight, Waters of Mars, Caves of Androzani. So many great, Pyramids of Mars, Deadly Assassin. Fantastic stories. I compared this to a Series 10 script because I think it's around that quality. I could totally, again, if anything, like I said, if this was Capaldi, I think he could have probably been a bit more
I would have blown out
in this role. I think this is kind of really suited to him. But again, I think he works.
And just like you don't like it, we are allowed to like it.
I'm not saying that nobody's allowed to like it, but if fans keep lowering their standards, it's not going to improve.
No, but
I mean, I don't know why in society today logic and shit has gone out the window. Logically speaking, the bottom line is that this show is not up to the standard that it should be. It's well below the standard, but it seems to be that fans are just happy to accept whatever they're given. And I don't think we should accept what we're given. This isn't up to the standards of Doctor Who, and I'm sorry, it's not going to improve unless fans start speaking up. I mean, even the Jodie Whittaker fans, which I said at the start of the stream, even they're complaining. Right? They're fucking having a field day with this. Right? It's that bad. Right? They're demanding that we all apologise to Jodie and Chris Chibnall and bring them back. Right? That's how far this has gone.
Yeah, because they're going to do anything to protect their precious era. All I'm saying is, by you saying we're lowering our standards.
Come on, Charlotte. It's not just about them protecting their era, right? They could see what the rest of us could see. They just wouldn't admit it during the Chibnall and Whittaker era because, as you said, they had someone that they could fight for and defend. But even they could see that this is a total fucking train wreck. And if they're speaking up, as I said, RTD is in trouble anyway, because those fans were the fans that he tried to win over. He's not winning those fans over. He's not winning the general public over. And he's certainly not winning a fan over like me. So the ratings have reflected that. The overnights have reflected that. And even the streaming numbers are reflecting that. They've got lower numbers than they did throughout the Jodie Whittaker era, right? So, I mean, as I said, you can like what you want a little bit, but what I'm saying is the standard should be much higher. We should demand more as fans. This is a 60-year-old franchise, folks. It deserves more than fucking messaging and a fucking, throwing out lesbian just for the fucking sake of it and other fucking stupid nonsense that they want. It deserves better than that. It deserves better than that. And as I said, I'm just going to say it again, it seems to me, and I could be wrong, but it seems to me that fans are accepting the lower standards, are so hoping that RTD pulls through, and he's not going to. He's going to let you down. It's going to be the same shit. By the end of this series, we're all going to be saying, yeah, probably one of the worst series of Doctor fucking Who we've had in a long time. Right? Because it's not improving. He bigged up, boom. They bigged up 73 Yards as the best episode of the series. This is the one, by the way, that even the Radio Times now, right? If that turns out to be shite on Saturday, right, and that's considered the best episode, right? Well, then the rest must be absolutely rubbish, and I mean beyond fucking even saving at this stage. Now, as I said,
I agree.
I like
It's
certain
really
things from Stu's performance, Millie's performance, certain things in the script, you know, all of these member berries and all of that. Strip all of that away, right? And what you're left with, the same old third messaging, the same old third bullshit that we've been getting the last 5 or 6 years. And I agree with JWC Reviews. It definitely is RIP Doctor Who. It's over. I don't normally use that hashtag, and I've never used it because I didn't believe in using it. But I honestly do believe that it is rest in peace for Doctor Who. This ain't recovering. It's not going to get any better. And if people think, all right, we'll wait till season 1, then we'll see if he course corrects season 2. So they did the same thing during the Whittaker era, and I never got any.
Back to back.
So where do people draw the line and say, right, enough is enough?
It's too late.
And that's all I'm trying to just get through to people. When is the line going to be drawn and fans finally say, right, we've had enough. It isn't Doctor Who. This is not what we fell in love with the show for. It's not the same show. Right, it's not the same show. It's completely different to 2005. It's completely different to the Moffat era, and it's different to the fucking Whittaker era as well. And that was different to everything else that we'd seen. Right, remember berries. I'm sorry, I'm not falling for it. JJ did it with fucking Star Trek, right? And Alex Kurtzman does it with Star Trek with the member berries, and fans fall for every time, right? You strip all of it away. What have you actually got? You've got nothing of substance. That's what you've got. And it's not good enough. RTD is not a sci-fi writer, right? He's a drama writer. He likes writing about his TQ and all of that other nonsense, right? That's what he's good at doing, right? He's not a Doctor Who showrunner and should never have been given the job, right? 2005 it worked. It doesn't work now in 2024. He needs to fuck off and he needs to be kicked out, but he's not going to get kicked out, right? So we just have to put up with this now, and that's the way it is. But I'm not rating any of this. I'm done with this show now until it goes back to what I believe the show should be. So when I come on here each week, I'm going to keep saying the same thing. Fans need to stop lowering their standards, because I know when Saturday comes along, it's going to be shit, and we're going to have the same conversation next week, and then it'll be the same the week after that, and the week after that, and the week after that, right? And I'm not doing it again. I'm telling you how I feel, and I do believe that fans have lowered their standards because they're hoping and praying that RTD delivers. And I can tell you now, from what I've seen so far, the 4 episodes that he has written, he is not going to deliver. So,
okay, can I just say something to people in the chat?
Yeah, go on.
I did not enjoy the first 2 episodes of this series. I really struggled with Space Babies. I thought it was juvenile. I thought it was stupid. I thought the monster he made that was initially quite scary, he made into a joke. But I like the Doctor in it. I like Millie in it. Devil's Cord, I thought it wasted time. The plot was meandering. I hated Jinx, and I gave Jinx a chance. I struggled. I actually enjoyed this episode, and I'm not making myself enjoy it. I actually enjoyed it, and I think we should be in a fandom that we're allowed to enjoy an episode. Did it have issues? Of course, I can happily go into those issues, but I generally watched Boom. Was it the best thing ever? No. Was it the best thing Moffat's written in years? No, he's written much better. But for one
But you see, you're saying it there. But you're saying it there. You're actually saying it there. He's written much better. Yes, so you have settled.
No, I haven't.
Two things can be true at once. Is this the best thing he's ever written? No. But it also doesn't mean it's the worst.
No, it doesn't. That's my point. I can enjoy something, but I can still say, for example, Heaven Sent is absolutely high above because of the writing. But I can still enjoy this. That's my point. So I'm not settling. I enjoyed Boo. And it's not that I'm making myself enjoy Boo, because I couldn't stand those first 2 episodes. And I came here last week and I made it very clear I couldn't stand those first 2 episodes. Whereas here, I felt like there was actual tension, there was actual stakes, there was actually... I found it sort of interesting with the planet, what was going on with the planet, with the war. Was there bits that were a bit thin? Yeah. I found the romance between the 2 sort of other characters sort of nothing. I didn't really care for it because it didn't really have enough to it for me to care. And some of the dialogue was incredibly in your face when it came to faith and the whole money and capitalism. But did that stuff override it as much as I felt like, for example, Jinx did in Devil's Cord? When every scene, it was like, how can you be any more annoying? How can you be overacting any more than you did the last scene? That had a massive impact on that episode for me to enjoy it. The way the Beatles were treated had a massive impact on how I could enjoy that episode. Here, the stuff I didn't like didn't impact me as much as the other episodes, because the core of it actually worked. And I'm not making myself feel that. Like I said, if you didn't like that episode, completely understand. That's no issue with that. We've all had episodes in the past that we've loved and others have hated. We've all had debates about episodes. So say, no, I liked this, and others saying, well, it's rubbish. That's what we do as a fandom. So we're not lowering standards. That's my point here. And I think we just need to remember that we need to... all of our experiences watching an episode are valid, and they're absolutely true to that person, because that's individual. That's to you. When you're watching something, that's your experience. So that's what I'm just trying to put out here. I'm not attacking anybody, but I'm just saying I feel like a little bit we need to just remember we all have different levels of what we enjoy, what we don't enjoy, what works for us. And I just think we need to remember that a little bit. I'm not having a go at anybody.
Anyway, we got a super chat, $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Squibs. Everyone is allowed to like what they want, but I personally can't watch and support what I see as Disney and RTV taking over Doctor Who and pushing agenda. Thank you for that super chat. Scottish Davros says the show deserves to be axed. It's trash. Well, we know Daniel doesn't like the show.
Yes.
Done. Fairho was better than Boom. I'd agree with you, and I hate Fairho.
See,
that's what Charlotte does have a point. I will say this, right? I know people do think I probably am forcing my opinions down people's throats. Fine. Right, I am angry today. I did say
you're pissed off, mate. You're pissed off.
That I am. I don't mean to be, right? But the bottom line is this, folks, right? I'm agreeing with JWC reviews there, right? Okay, so obviously my standard, as Charlotte said, is different to others, and that's fine. That's fair enough. But you know, the bottom line is my standards haven't changed since 2005. The standards of the show have since 2005. The quality has gotten dipped, right? So I mean, look, as I said, like what you want, but I'm just out straight about it. You're never gonna fix this show if you settle for what you're getting, and that's the message I'm just trying to convey. I'm trying to get across. Is this never changes? This will never be fixed. You'll never get the true potential of Doctor Who if we keep supporting this trash. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, look, yeah, at the end of the day, you all have your own individual minds, and you will do what you want, and that's the bottom line. But I'm also an individual, and I'll also do what I want, and I'll say what I want to say. And the bottom line is, you know, and I'll say it again, you know, and I know, so, you know, as I said, it is, you know, I don't want people to take offense to this, but the bottom line is I do believe fans have and I'll continue to say it, they have lowered the standards, and that's what I believe, and I'm not going to change that. And the only way you change this show for the good and for the better is the man, like what they did for Picard, right? Fans gave out about the first 2 seasons, and then they brought in Terry, and Terry course corrected and gave us a great series of Picard, right? Okay, so this is why I'm so adamant about this. If we speak up a bit more, we can actually change this show. We can actually get them to improve the quality. Now, obviously, the first 2 seasons are in the can, right? But he's still writing a 3rd season. We can make him heroes, and maybe then if he's anyway fucking decent like Terry was, he'll listen to fucking fans and he'll course correct, right? But you know, as I said, look, fans can do what they want. I just don't. You know, it's so fucking frustrating because this is an easy fix, and it always was. Ian has said it as well. Ian Levine. It's an easy fix. You bring in sci-fi writers and you bring in people that actually understand science fiction. You know,
Michael Straczynski, yes.
Not necessarily Doctor Who fans either, but people that understand the show. They know the history of the show and are sci-fi writers and come in and give us something fresh. All we're getting is the same tired tropes from RTD and Moffat right now. The only difference is it looks shiny, it looks better on screen, and they've got a bigger budget, but it's still the same shite. Anyway, let's see what other comments we have there. Leland is off to a meeting, so you enjoy your meeting, mate. Don't fucking envy you. I hate fucking meetings. I'm going to be having a few meetings now over these next couple of weeks, but I fucking hate them. Nah, I'm right and everybody else is wrong, says President Lemon. If you tolerate this, then your franchise will be next. Stereophonics. Well, if you tolerate this, children will be next. That was the song that I used during the Jodie Whittaker era. We have to use it again for the fucking RTD era because he's pushing the trans ideology, isn't he? So if you tolerate this, then your children will be fucking next. So that's a great song if you haven't heard it, by the way. Stereophonics are brilliant. Let's see. There's other comments up here. President Lemon says, yeah, but it's not Capaldi, is it? No, in relation to him, and people said this would be probably more suited to Peter Capaldi. And I agree with him.
Yeah, but my point was, I think this would have been better if it's Capaldi. I know full well it's not Capaldi. This is the Doctor. I said that earlier. This is the 15th Doctor era, and I praised it because this is the episode that he needed, and I think he did it. That's it.
Yeah, and I think Shooty's growing actually in these episodes. In the
better. You know, it took Eccleston up until the Doctor dances Empty Child until he really got a good grip onto the character, and by that point he was already at the door.
I disagree. He'd argue the first episode was that scene where he's explaining about the Earth and he could feel it. That's when I knew he was the Doctor. I didn't have to wait till the Doctor dances.
I didn't know because I didn't watch them on transmission. I watched them all on DVD because I was too young at the time. But you know, I think he really grows after that episode. He's always the Doctor anyway because he's fantastic from day one. But I think he really gets really comfortable around that point. And then of course, like Tennant was solid since day one really, and so was Matt really. Capaldi took a bit longer, but you know, I think. For me, Whittaker was a bad fit for the role in terms of, well, for a lot of fronts. Again, I also think traditionally, Eccleston was a bit out there for a choice. He played, his Doctor was completely different to the others, even right down to his costume. Some people might have said he was a bad fit for the role, but he did it all right. And I think we're in the similar sort of thing with Shooty. Shooty, just in the way he is, he's not like the other Doctors. He's not like the other actors. So a lot of people are obviously understandably put off by that. But I think, he can make it work. And for me, he has. And, again, I thought Boom was good. But I also I'm a little bit pushed down a little bit by 73 yards because I thought that was going to be, I don't know, I guess different. And as soon as I saw the next time trailer, I thought, oh, it's just Millie on her own. And I thought, okay, are we really getting Dr. Light episodes in 2024? I get it from before because they'd have a contract for 13 episodes or whatever and a Christmas special. Therefore, they'd have to sort of go Dr. Light or Companion Light for one episode. So it's a little bit, annoying to me why, we've got an 8-episode season. We're getting shorter and shorter running times as well because they've gone right down to 45 minutes, which is really bugging me. And again, I don't know, I don't mean to sound entitled, but, we went from 13 episodes, 45 minutes. Okay, fine. And now we've gone back, we went down to 10. Okay, but then he tried to excuse it and tried to sort of pacify us by saying, oh, well, yeah, okay, it's back down to 10, but each episode's 5 minutes longer. So if you were to take those 5 minutes from every single episode, you'd have a whole new episode or whatever. So even then, still shorter because you'd have 11, whatever. And now we've gone down to 8, and we're not, and it's not just 8 1-hour episodes, which I thought was going to be what it was, and I would have been happy with that. What eight episodes, all 1 hour each, therefore 8 hours of content. Whereas it's just going to come short of that, really, because it's not 1 hour, it's 45 minutes. That's like a whole.
Yeah, 45, 51 minutes an episode or something. Yeah, depends on the week.
45 minutes to an hour. That's again, and I can't help but notice it because we've got 46 minutes for Space Babies, 49, I think, for the Devil's Cord, and 45 for Boom. And we're literally going back to the old Russell and Moffat era for 45 minutes. And again, I don't like that because I think we need all the time. Again, with all these plot threads as well, there's too much to juggle. There's a lot going on. There's a new Doctor to really establish, which is still in transition of doing. There's all these plot threads about Buddy Susan and all that, and the storyline around, Millie. I imagine there maybe is a multi-season thing to that possibly, but again, there's a shorter. They haven't got long because we've got 5 weeks, haven't we? Something like that, and there's a lot of cram in there. So again, that's a critical point. And if 73 yards. Again, if by looking at that next time trailer, it's slightly diminished my expectations for it. I was looking forward to it quite before, but seeing what it's going to be like, or what I presume it to be like, with the Dr. Light episode. I mean, I hope Millie's great in it. I hope that's good on that front. But I want the Doctor. It's like you said, it's not Millie who, with all due respect to her. That's why I want to see the Doctor. And if it's only an 8-episode season and he's only in it for 7. Or again, he's in it for the first couple of minutes, and then they'll be there Christmas Invasion where he turns up 5 minutes before the end. That will bug me a little bit, and then that would ruin my estimation for that episode for me. And if it's shit, I will happily come here and rip it a new one. But again, like Charlotte said, I'm not sitting here secretly hating it, but trying desperately to convince myself. If I like it, I like it. If I don't like it, I don't like it. I say it's shit, I'll say it's shit.
Yeah, like I said, those opening for me were not good enough.
President Lemon says there, 73 yards is good episode. I'll eat me hat and literally and film it. Yeah, do that.
Send it to me. I want to watch.
Actually, no, do that because I can guarantee it when we come back here next week, right? There'll be disappointment on the panel's faces when 73 yards has dropped.
To be honest, I have no expectations. Like that's the thing I sort of purposely have done for this series.
Yeah.
I've not sort of set from this one with Moffat, but my expectation was just there's a chance.
Yeah, I think we all had high hopes, didn't we, Charlotte? We all had high hopes for Boom. I think we all had.
I remember I said to myself, I think if Moffat can at least shoot you a bit differently and have this slightly more serious tone, that was my only real sort of wants, because of what's happened, because of the way Russell's carried on and Shooty's carried on, and because of those opening 2 episodes, my sort of attitude now going forward is just, I'm not going to really have expectations going into these episodes. I'm just going to watch them and then see what I feel afterwards. That's why I've almost not now I'm not watching the next time trailers. I'm sort of purposely going in as cold as possible to these episodes now. So then if I like them, like Boom, I can say, right, I liked it and I didn't have any sort of thing going in or either negative. Like, it's hard with the neg because, like I said, and I think the view figures, there's a whole lot of issues sort of all making that happen. But one of them is that god awful press tour they did.
Oh,
I mean, if you want to get your fans on side, surely the good thing to do, right, is to insult them and to attack them
You get it,
before
Russell?
they
You get it? You get it?
before they've even watched a scene of the
Disney
series.
playbook, yeah.
So yeah, that's hard because we went in basically being told you're terrible people. Like, that whole marketing was fully in push. So it is hard. And that's why I completely understand why for some of people, this is just because of the atmosphere they've created and because of the writing, it's not working. And I would agree. I think overall, the viewing figures in Britain, at least, because I don't know the Disney Plus stuff, because I don't understand that. I'll happily admit to that as much. I think the viewing figures are clearly showing overall this is not working. Like, this is not working when it comes to keeping audience.
That's the thing. Like, although I will sit there and say, yeah, I bloody loved it, I'm also aware that, you know, distancing to myself, I also worry about my fellow fan, because I'm glad it satisfied me, but it's not just about me, it's about all of us. And, you know, you look at the ratings, and again, no matter how, and I stress this, and I'll say it again until I'm blue in the face, doesn't matter, even if you play them at their own game, even if you use their own logic about, oh, global TV habits have died, haven't they, and it's all about streaming now, well, okay then, let's go by your logic, and let's see about the tweets about after the Star Beast, about the 28 consolidated ratings. It took the Star Beast a month to get 9 million. Okay, before we were getting that on overnights alone. So again, even if you play by their own rules and go with their own logic, it's still not working because
it's still not working.
Time is still a killer. Time is still a killer. You can wait as long as you want. If you're
so then the question then the fans have to ask themselves though is why.
We lost Noel for a second.
I think it's cut him off.
Yeah, but adding to that. Oh, there he is. Right.
Go on.
But adding to that, though, I think we're kind of right because everyone's going, "Oh, TV is dead. Nobody's watching this live anymore." But then, when the ratings come back, 2 million watched it live on TV, and 2 million watched it complete on the iPlayer.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's why I said to myself, those are not good overnights by any stretch. Yeah. They should be getting better, but because of the format they've chosen, they've almost made it now that there's more reliance on that consolidated. Yeah. I said this before. You're chasing your own sort of numbers now because you can't. Your overnights you've sacrificed on the altar here.
Yeah.
And so you have to have a massive uplift in that consolidated. You have to get at least.
This is the whole point. They never needed to sacrifice the overnights at all. If they had just written a decent fucking show, also, they would have the overnights. They'd have the consolidated figures. It'd be doing well on Disney Plus because people would watch it no matter what platform it's on. If you give people a decent fucking show, and I mean great character development and great writing, they will watch, whether it's watch on the night or watch during the week on whatever streaming platform. We've seen other shows have used that model that have been successful. So if the ratings are not doing well, then we've got to analyse why the ratings are not doing well. And the reason why the ratings are not doing well is because Shooty and RTD couldn't keep their mouth shut. Then on top of that, then you have some of the guest stars that are on the show also attacking fans. And then it doesn't help then when you produce the show and then it's not up to the fucking standard that it should be. This is why the ratings are down. It's not just for the fact that Shooty told people to walk away. It's already been proven that if you give Doctor Who fans decent writing, decent character development, no matter what they say about the past and show and all the past tribulations, they will tune in and watch. Right? So far,
Yeah.
Then it's game over. It started off with 2.8, right? Then it went down to 2.24. Now it's 2.2, right? We're going by next week's episode or the week after. This show is going to be in overnights is going to be under 2 million.
Oh, it's definitely going to hit that now. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And it never did that one. And can I make a point out, though? You know, I don't defend Whittaker and Chibnall, right? But I'm going to, right? You look at their figures. Look at the consolidated, look at the 28-day, and look at the overnights. None of them were this bad. None of them were this bad. Now, Jodie Whittaker's couple of episodes didn't reach under the 3 million mark, but there were even more views than what RTD's first episode got. Right? So this show is in trouble. And apparently Doomcock, who I don't really take real much credence on, but he's done a video. Apparently the ratings have been leaked on Disney Plus, and they've got a D plus in the ratings. Right? So a D plus is shite. It didn't even get an A, B, or a C. Yeah. Even a C would be good. But it got a D plus, right? Also, the screenshots of Disney putting their top 10 shows in. Doctor Who hasn't even gotten into the top 10. It's not in the top 10 for those nights. It never reached the top 10 even on Disney. So these excuses from Mr. TARDIS and all of these, yeah, I'm mentioning names because I said the shackles are off. All of these people that are spinning the ratings are clueless and they're idiots and they don't know what they're talking about. Because, you know, TV habits may have changed, yeah, but nobody's even watching this shit show on streaming service, right? So, you know, especially to those guys, because those guys have actually lowered their standards ever since the Whittaker era. You guys now need to start calling this shite out, right? Yous are the ones that are in with RTD, you know, and blow smoke up his ass. Now it's time to tell the fucking truth and say and call it out for what it is, but you won't, because it pays to be a little traitor, doesn't it? Pays to be a little traitor. So that's what you will keep doing. You will keep praising this bollocks, even though it's a load of bullshit and the ratings are actually reflecting it now. There are no excuses. They could use the excuses for Whittaker and Chibs, but they can't use those excuses now because it's different, right? 5 years ago was completely different to what it is now, right? And streaming services, I'm sorry, but you know, this whole streaming service thing is in my opinion, is dying out. I think people are sick of all the different platforms, they're sick of all the streaming, and it's going to get to the stage where people are not. I mean, listen, if you want to watch Doctor Who on Disney Plus, you have to pay 10 quid or something for 3 months or whatever it is for the 8 weeks, right? That's right. So that's pay for Disney Plus. Right, then on top of that, obviously, you've got your other platforms that you pay for if you want to. So people can't afford, you know, to be getting all these streaming services. So when a show like Doctor Who comes along, the quality has to be up there, not down here. It has to be up there. Because, as I said, people are parting with their hard-earned cash, and people are not going to part with their hard-earned cash to watch that rubbish. And that's what's happening across the board. That's what's happening across the board. Right, you're seeing it with Disney as well. Disney have lost, by the way, since the whole Star Wars debacle, Disney have lost over 5 million worldwide, 5 million subscribers, right? And they continue to lose
$4 billion
every day, right? And as PD has mentioned there, they're in more trouble again. There's more articles about Disney today. They're in trouble now. Looks like they're going to have to merge with someone now and sell off stuff now to get money. And they're just have to bring it in Dr. fucking Who, like.
Oh,
Right?
poor Mike is a mental case, I have to say. He just makes me laugh.
So Iger just hasn't got a fucking clue.
He's
I
as
mean,
bad as Biden. They're going to be the old people's home after this.
well, I
This is
don't mean to be.
nonsense each other.
I'm not. I just want to make this clear, though. I'm not attacking you, Charlotte, or attacking you, Cinnamon, or anybody for liking it, right? Or liking some parts of it. All I'm just saying is that, you know, it's never going to recover. It's never going to get the ratings that we believe it deserves, and stuff if the writing and the quality of it doesn't improve. And that's all I'm just trying to say. I'm just, if we accept this, Charlotte, you know, this is what we're going to get for the next 2-3 years. And then, look, I'm at the age now in my life where if Doctor Who goes off air for me, Charlotte, right, it's probably it. I'll probably never see Doctor Who come back on TV in my lifetime. And that's scary and that's sad to me. I'm actually gutted when I think of that. I actually get very emotional, right? And there's people older than me. They will never ever see Doctor Who again if this doesn't improve. If Disney decide to pull the plug, it's the end. So rather than, I know we all hate Disney, I fucking hate them, I can't stand them. But would we like for the show to be done fucking properly, great, right? And Disney would have something that they could fucking flog and make the biggest fucking show on the planet. I don't get this whole mentality from showrunners and the agenda. Fuck the agenda. Go back to square one with this show, and I guarantee it. You know, that famous line in Field of Dreams, if you build it, they will come. Right?
Oh yeah, no, I completely understand, and like I said, I get it. How like the overall, overall, I agree. The direction for the show right now it needs changing, for me. No. Overall, what Russell's doing is, for me, the level's not there writing wise. Like I said, those opening 2 episodes. I think
they were awful. I mean, you didn't like them either.
Those opening 2 episodes, for me, that was every fear I had of Russell come true. That he would go back to his silliness that we saw in his first run. He'd go back to sort of lower stakes again. He'd go back to, it's just gonna all fix itself in the last 5-10 minutes magically. Like that was his bad traits he had before, and it felt like those opening 2 episodes was all of that amplified, and it was all the worst things he could do writing wise he was doing. But like I said with that last stream, you need to have internal logic. He had none of that in those 2 episodes. Things just happened because they needed to in the plot. Like that's how he was writing clearly for me. So and I think from those 2 openers, he has basically, a lot of people didn't have a lot of chances left in them. And they saw those first 2 and they were like, I'm out. I'm not giving this any more chances. And I think that's also reflected in the viewing figures.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you there.
That people didn't have a lot of faith and sort of willingness to see what would happen. And I think completely, and this is not me saying, no, you need to give it every chance. They need to earn that back with the fans. Yeah. It's not on us, it's on them.
I'm glad you've actually said that, though. I'm actually glad to hear you say it.
The problem with the whole thing about the marketing, they've took the UK audience for granted. They don't feel like they have to put it here. They've done it all in America, all flashy, livery, whatever the word is, art all over the trains. I want that.
The marketing was
laser beam to cats, like mate. That. Yeah.
So that all of that in the opening 2 episodes. But I've said this plenty of times on these streams. For me, I always take shows, whether it's Doctor Who or anything else, I take it episode by episode. First 2 episodes, absolutely shocking. This one, actually...
No, I get where you're coming from. I didn't mean to be as forceful as I was, right? And I'll apologise to you now if you feel like I'm trying to change his minds. I'm not. right? We've been doing this a long time, Charlotte. Me and you've been here and PD. Right? You know how I am, right? I'm not telling you what to enjoy and what not to enjoy. I'm just frustrated because I believe that if this show did go back to basics and we actually had someone in there that understood sci-fi, we'd be sitting here easily, as Cinnamon said, with 8 or 9 million over fucking nights. Without, I even said if RTD came back, right, and he got overnights around the 6-7 million mark, right, I would consider that a success, considering the 5 years that we had previous. But he's not even getting that. And that's the shocking thing about. I can't actually believe that's the one.
I understand.
Shocked me about this is that the pull of RTD has not worked.
Well, no,
has not.
The pull for RTD hasn't worked because people were like, right, let's see what you like. I think the fact that they didn't realise, and this is my theory, I think they didn't realise that fans actually were going to watch these as their own thing and not rely on what Russell did before when it comes to how well that was received.
Yeah.
I think a lot of fans actually were like...
The way you should look at it is that, again, we shouldn't really... Well, we can, in fairness, because it's the same show and that. I get that. But it's like, okay, what you've done in the past was great, but it's not the past anymore. It's the here and now.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. So, and the only thing I would push back on is when we say, they're not sci-fi writers. Okay, I get that, but I mean, this is the same people who have written series 1 to 5 of Doctor Who, which I would consider the golden age of New Who. So they've done it before, so they can do it. I just think, again, but the reason why I say that, Cinnamon, is because why it did work before in 2005, and I will agree with you that from 2005 to Moffat's 4th season, maybe his 2nd season, that's the golden era of New Who. I'll agree with you on that. But you see, it worked in 2005. He needed to do that in 2005 to try bring an audience in. But he didn't need to do it in 2024. The audience was already there. And the public were just waiting. But that's the thing, Cinnamon. The public were waiting for decent Doctor Who to get behind it. Even hardcore soap people were hoping that this turned out decent and they follow it. There's an audience out there. He's chasing an imaginary audience. Charlotte said it earlier. That's what it seems. He's chasing this audience that's not there. And absolutely.
He needed to be
all the time on Sensephere and I think on here as well. 2005.
Yeah, so he needs to.
He had a point to make about this show, and he did that. And he took Doctor Who, which was a show that was getting ridiculed in the late 80s about Pepper Potts and Daleks or whatever. It was ridiculed and it was taken not seriously. And he brought it back with such a bang, and he had a point to prove. And Russell's only agenda there was to make this show.
Yeah,
to get everyone talking. No, it's not just a silly little relic of a bygone era that was then kind of replaced by Star Wars and all these fancy new shows. He took it back and he made it with a bang, and he got a great cast, and the visual effects would look fantastic for the time. I mean, even the shot at the end of the world in the 2nd episode, a lot of the budget went onto that shot. Even today, I still think that holds up, and that was his focus then. And my point is that even now that's not his focus. Now he's almost, like I said before in the chats on some of your streams, he's trying to make Doctor Who like everything else. He's trying to make it like all these rest of these streaming shows and all the rest of this, copying and borrowing elements of other shows, trying to make it contemporary like everybody else. It needs to be like anybody else. It needs to be on its own thing. Okay, you can have it on a streaming service, but he's chasing success. It's almost like, again, it's like BoJack Horseman. I used to be famous years ago. Now I'm just trying to recapture some sort of old, a little bit of attention.
See, here's the thing. Himself and Moffat did all the hard work and got an audience. Chibnall comes in, then decimates the audience. But with RTD coming back, that should have automatically had fans on board, because obviously what he did in 2005. And fair enough, there was curiosity and there was fans willing to give him a chance until obviously the Star Beast. And then as soon as Star Beast drops, then fans knew exactly what they were getting. And that's when I believe most of the fans actually walked away and were done with this show. And that's the sad thing. Russell is not a sci-fi writer, right? Back then it worked, but Doctor Who needs sci-fi writers now. That's the difference, because he did all the hard work. The audience is there. There's the audience. Look at Doctor Who fans and the British public are just waiting for a decent version of Doctor Who to come along, and they'll support it, right? Ian Levine, who's in the industry, has said this. There's an audience there waiting for them. All they need to do is go back to basics, strip it back, stop with all the big, but we don't need a big budget. What should happen is any potential showrunner come in, right, there you go, there's your budget, 15 million. You've got 15 million, and you've got to now produce whatever out of that, and that's it, right? But see, the thing about it is then they'll panic, right? And then they'll make it about the writers. So they'll pay the money to bring in the best writers. Someone mentioned it in the chat as well. Where is this budget? Has it gone on all the special effects?
I think so. I honestly think, no. Some of those are shots, like the dinosaurs in Space Babies.
The LED screen as well. There was an LED screen that they used, which, again, you won't think about it too much in time. If you watch Unleashed, it does look good, because they were basically saying that the whole him running across the background, before they'd have to use a green screen, and it would take months and months of work afterwards.
Post,
So what I was saying is they can shoot it in real time, right there and then with the cameras. They can have shoot you run past, and they don't have to do it months and months of work. It's right there and then. So it's some stuff you won't notice. I can see why people have say, oh, where's all this extra thing? But then you see at the end when they're all looking at the planets. That, to me, I can see it there.
No, it looks impressive. It does. I mean, it looks. I think this show looks the best it's ever had, in fairness. But that's not what. Maybe younger fans don't mind that as much, but for us older fans, I can tell you,
we want a story.
Exactly. That's not the main focus for us. It's the writing. We want good storytelling.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck this. We don't care if there's ropey sets and there's Daleks with their fucking heads falling off. Right? If it's a good writing and a good story and there's a right amount of tension and all of that, we want that. That's what we want. It looks beautiful.
Doctor Who is like a woman. Doctor Who is like a woman. You don't have to be the glamorous supermodel in the world, but as long as she's loyal and she's good for you and you're good for her, that's all that matters. You don't have to be the sexy in the world. You have to look great. Actually, Rabbi said this. What's wrong with the effects from Series 5? Okay, you can touch it up a little bit, but like if we didn't have this big budget, it would just as fine. We don't actually need it. It's nice to have. It's very nice to have. I like it looking great, but it's not a requirement. What's important?
No, but that's the issue. This is the biggest issue this show has. It's the biggest issue this show has. That's the problem.
Yeah,
and since there's been a bigger budget, the quality of the show has actually dipped. They need to take the budget away. That's what they need to do. They need to say, this is your budget. This is a set budget. You've not to go over this budget. Now you've got to bring in the right people to make this work. It's as simple as that. His hands should be forced. Sure. He should be told, you're not getting all of this budget. I mean, the rumor is that it costs 2 million, nearly 3 million an episode.
Jesus Christ.
So, explain to me where that 2-3 million has gone into. Well, Cinnamon has said it. The effects look great and it looks shiny and beautiful. But why not use that budget to bring in the best sci-fi writers that are out there right now at the moment and say, we want you to write, we've got this overarching story, but we want you to write an episode that fits in with all of this like a jigsaw puzzle like they used to do in the old days.
Yeah,
right?
It's like how,
and all there.
Yeah. It's like how in Russell's first series, I love Boomtown, and I think one of the reasons for me that episode works is because if we're to believe what we heard afterwards, they basically had not a lot of money left. They were saving it for the finale.
Yeah.
So they purposely filmed that in Cardiff in like the most simple, cheapest locations they could find. And it's really sort of but what I love about Boomtown is that's an example of actually what you're talking about. You take away all the fanciness, you take away all the special effects relatively, and you just focus in on your story.
And that's what Doctor Who's always been good at. Blink was another one. Again, that was it was a shoestring budget at the time. Doctor Who was actually always worked well under pressure. When it's really needed to kick it the gear, when it's really needed to be at the business, it's usually done okay. And that's how we've got episodes like Blink and, various of the stories. Whenever the show is coming to pressure or whenever it's needed to do something because, we can't do this, so we've got to try and adapt, it's usually done a great job. It's only really recently where they've just crumbled under the pressure for whatever reason. They've done it before in the past where they've able to, in a clever way, able to, weave and bob and dodge and weave around problems. Again, the fact that we got episodes like Blink, which is commonly regarded. I used to say that Blink was better. It was the best Sleeping Angel story. I've actually come around to Noel's point of view. He's actually won me over on this because I actually now think that as a story, The Time of Angels and Flesh and Stone is actually a more creepy story. I think that's more tense, if anything. I think Blink is scarier, but I think there's more of a story. I think it's more tense
in Flesh and Stone. Yeah, I think Blink is actually overrated. I said it that the better Weeping Angel story is actually Flesh and Stone. That two-parter.
But if people say, don't they, Blink is fantastic, and I think it's still a great story, obviously.
Yeah.
But the fact that we can get episodes like that, which at that point was again, it was a.
But that's what we should be getting each week.
It was a companion light episode.
£2 million an episode.
There's no budget really. It was a couple of statues or people in costume in a old abandoned house in a police station maybe, and that was a fantastic episode. So they can do it. It's just the quality isn't always there. And decision making.
Oh, by the way, the rumor is, the way Davros is not in a wheelchair anymore. He has
to use see him again.
Well, apparently the rumor is, on the rumor that I threw up as well, is that now this was on Reddit. This is not my rumor, but I have asked, and apparently there's something. But that Davros is coming back, that exact Davros. So Davros with no wheelchair, apparently he's going to make an appearance in the finale of this season.
If you don't like him, Russell, leave him alone.
Also, the Susan is supposed to be there as well. Also, the Trickster apparently is supposed to show up along with Zootek. It's going to be, if it's all of that, that just sounds like a complete shit show to me.
Yes.
I know you're going to get a coherent story out of all of that. Maybe he will. Maybe the last episodes will probably be the best thing of the fucking series, right? But I got to be honest with you guys. I just don't. I can't see it right now.
Yeah.
73 yards. I think. That'll be the 4th episode, so that's half of this season.
Yeah. No, by the way, no. Rabbi found something. Sean Pertwee's going to be the Christmas special, as does John Pertwee.
See, he's always said he'd never do that.
I know, he's been lying through his tits again. It's an IMDb. If you go and look at the last episode.
Right, hold on, though. Right,
Sean Pertwee's down.
Right, I don't... Look, I'm not against that. I never really have been. You know that. But he did say, Charlotte, as I mentioned it there,
I know,
that he would never play his father. If he did go into the Doctor Who universe, he wanted to play a villain or a different character, but he definitely didn't want to play his father's Doctor because I think he saw it as disrespectful. Now, if he has changed his mind...
Disney money.
Well, then, you've said it, PD. That's, and that'll be sad. Look, I'm sorry, Sean. I know he's your father, but you leave your dad's doctor alone. Please don't do this if it's true. Please don't do it.
I've got a bad idea now.
Don't do it because why would you bring it? What's your theory? Because obviously you're bringing Pertwee back to go on. There's a reason.
Shooty adores his doctor. What do you think his doctor's going to be like around?
They're going to start grouping in the tires.
He's going to start flirting with him.
Yeah, he's going to give
because they want to change Pertwee's doctor to gay. I forgot, because Pertwee is the one that they actually pick out because he did that scene and he's wearing his women's clothes. So
keeps mentioning him.
Right, and there you go.
Oh my God! There we go. Oh well,
Right,
hopefully the
well,
rating will be down to 1 million.
already for that for me is a big no. I'm sorry. Maybe some fans out there will be delighted with that, but I certainly won't be. You leave. Look, the bottom line is that you've got technology nowadays to actually bring Pertwee's Doctor back if you really wanted to bring him back. Why you'd use his son to play him? Well, I kind of get it because they look alike, but
They look really
no, I look at I do say this about the fourth, like, he did a good job playing the Force Doctor, but, it was, I still found it disrespectful kind of to William Hartnell, when, what's his face played the Force Doctor. Yeah, David Bradley. So, and you've seen the way Moffat wrote the Force Doctor, right? So, if you think that RTD is going to stay true to Pertwee's Doctor and writing the way he should be written, I don't think that's going to happen. But geez, no way, you better not bring him back.
For the boys, the soldiers are better for Benton or some line like that.
Oh, they'll do that. Yes, they'll do that if it's not.
As a rule, I don't actually mind a son of a former character playing. Like, I wouldn't have it. I wouldn't be offended because it's not really my pillars to be offended. If Sean wants to play his dad's role, I think that's the best way to do it. If it's a son, I don't mind. If you get some other actor, then I don't know. He looks like him. Get the wig on. Again, we see it with David. Michael Troughton has played Patrick Troughton on Big Finish. I think I've seen it in a few other examples. As long as they don't butcher the character a little bit, like where they're trying to make him look like David Bradley.
Yeah.
Not David. David Bradley didn't get it. It was Moffat changed the first Doctors, and little lines like flat bottom. The first Doctor wouldn't have said that.
Nah, be fair, man. If he brings him back, he's going to irreversibly change.
I don't want him to. I don't want him to, obviously. But I mean, if it did happen, I won't be screaming about it. But I think just leave these things, leave it alone. I think it's better left alone. I mean, they talk about both sides of their mouth. In 1 minute they're saying Doctor Who's always been the same, but then no, it needs to change to 2024 now, apparently. But it's still the same show. Some sort of article that Russell was saying, but basically he said the same thing, but also different. Again, he can't make his mind up a lot of the time.
Oh, he can't. That's the problem, Russell. He's like, oh, it's new, it's new, it's new. But I'm going to use a load of canon references that only the long-term fans are going to have a clue what they mean.
And that's another thing. They keep trying, again, like I said before, in 2005, his only agenda was to make Doctor Who good and to blast it into the public consciousness' mind. No, it's not just a silly little show from a bygone era. No, it's now, it's new, it's bigger than ever. Well, maybe not. Maybe better than ever. That's better than ever. But but now, again, now he's chasing trends. Oh, I want it to be like Loki. I want it to be like this Disney show. I want it to be like this streaming service. Now he's going out of his way to chase an audience. You already had an audience. I gravitated towards Doctor Who because I'm a nerd, I'm a geek, and I like that sort of stuff. So that's how I found the show. Because my dad watched it, and then I got involved in it, and that's what I like. He didn't need to go out of his way to get me. I'm not going to go and sit there and say to Bridgerton, you need to change what your story is. It needs to cater to me. I want sci-fi and aliens in Bridgerton. I want some big lady to change into a big monster. No, because that's not what the show's about. I want Kim Kardashian to turn into a Slovene. I mean, that's some image. I mean, it's common sense. And again, I watched a great video about this. I have to try and find a link. People really should, because I agreed with every single point he pretty much made. And if you go out your way to aggressively get a new audience, you're going to push the old one out. It's just logic. And it's
suicide as well.
It's 20 or 30 years again. I mean, I know they're getting on a bit. I know Russell's 60 or whatever. But let's say in 20 years' time, maybe when society's different and there's a new agenda and there's a new socially accepted viewpoint, they'll say, "Oh, I never believed in that old one from years ago. Oh, I admit my mistakes." And they'll act like they never believed it. But as soon as the new one comes along, as soon as the new worldview, or whatever it is, in however many years, they'll do it again. They'll say they never believed in all of this. So, we just did what we thought was right.
I'll be back in a minute. You just carry on there for a second. I'll have something to check out real quickly, Ari.
Yeah, and again, to that video, I'm sure a lot of us have seen it, where David Tennant, he doesn't really know. With all due respect to him, he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's fumbling over himself. He's desperately trying to find the right words. He's kind of playing to a gallery. He sat there surrounded by people and he knows what he should say because he knows what the answer they want, and that's what it is. A lot of it is just playing to a gallery. He's sitting there and he'll say what they want to hear because he believes that, or he's been told by people that is the right opinion and that is the kind thing. And I think that is true of David. I don't think he's trying to go out of his way to be this way. I think he genuinely believes it, but I think he believes it because he genuinely wants to come across as being the right thing. I mean, don't we all? I mean, don't we all believe things that we believe in because we believe? Well, we'll believe them because we believe them. Oh, it sounds stupid to say, but we believe in the things we believe in because we believe they're right. I wouldn't believe in the wrong thing if I believed it was wrong. So again, and I think even Russell's is the same. I just think they're a bit deluded, misguided, and again, heads full of cotton wool. But it's like I was saying earlier, I can separate it. There's a lot of white noise in the background. There's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of this, that. He said this, he said that. Frankly, I can ignore what Shooty said in however many articles 5 minutes ago. When I watch the episode and I watch it, I look at it and judge it on its own thing. Yeah, President Lemon, you're probably right. But yeah, like I said, when you watch the episode, I can just watch it there. And he feels like the Doctor to me.
Same here.
I've already felt it in the Christmas episode. And I said, okay, well, that's just one episode, isn't it? Okay, we need a bit more. Because what anyone could look good in one episode. Well, maybe not Jodie, but, maybe Neely. But, we needed a couple of more. And, I said, didn't I, 4 episodes into the season, I think you'll have an idea of what this Doctor is. I mean, we've had the Christmas one, we've had Space Babies, we've had Devil's Card, we've now got Boom, and in a couple of days' time, Wednesday? So nearly halfway there, I think. Friday, well, for me, it'll be Friday night, won't it? It's midnight. We'll get 73 yards. Well, it doesn't look like it's in that one too much. But,
I was going to say, that's probably not a good judge off the trailer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, if it's bad, I'll say it's bad. I've got no qualms or any issues. I just think sometimes when we get a bit too bogged down and question people's motives, or you're obviously just trying to, you're obviously trying to come up with an excuse just to like it. If I didn't like it, I didn't like it. I will happily say if I hated it. And Charlotte's done that. She said she wasn't too fussed on the first 2, but she doesn't mind this one. I've actually liked I've liked most of them all. Yeah, I've liked the one that. What would be the one that I disliked the most out of all the ones that we've gotten so far? Probably the Star Beast. Actually, no, probably the Devil's Cord and then the Star Beast. Because I think the idea of the Devil's Cord, I like a lot of it, but I don't like a lot of other stuff. I think Jinx, unfortunately, sucks way too much attention out of the episode.
Ruins that episode.
And giving upstage Shooty, which, by God, does that take some doing to upstage Shooty? I mean, bloody hell, that is some achievement. I mean, bloody hell, give her the full Disney budget for that alone. Goodness me, that takes some effort. I mean, Christ. I mean, I just think.
Well, mentally ill people are going to obviously show him.
I think that's it. We at one point we were all shared a common opinion, which is a fairly solid one, that the Jodie era we didn't agree with, and we formed our own little channels and we formed our own little communities. But now it's different, and I think Noel mentioned this some time ago. Now you're going to start seeing a change because now it's not as quite as 100% as it once was. Where before we were quite agreed quite a lot. Now it's a little bit more contentious because now there's elements of some people who are actually I didn't mind that, and then there's some people who are, no, it's still not good enough, and that's fine. And so now you're starting to see that divide, and that's where I think the clash comes a little bit because you'll have someone like me or Charlotte which will say that was alright, that one.
I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, I thought okay. Like it actually surprised me. I was actually I watched Boom and I had a smile on my face. I honestly did, and I'm not playing to the audience. I'm not just saying it on the stream just to be different. Or Cinnamon's just trying to be different, or he just wants to be, he wants to be contentious. Again, like I said, I'll happily rip this a new one if I didn't like it. But like I say, we're at that point now where we are starting to see that slight divide, that slight clash. And as long as everyone remembers which I think we all know anyway. But it's nice to have a little reminder that we're not out to get anybody, and that it's all right to disagree, and you can agree to disagree, and we can still all be friends at the end of the day.
True.
That's what it's all about, That's just my little speech.
Yeah, it's just like I said, we used to have plenty of good debates, and I think that's what's good about this stream actually. Even like now, I feel like it has become a nice debate, and us all just sort of saying our views.
Yeah, I mean, I had to get stuff off my chest. You know me, I'm not going to hold back. You know what I mean? I've got to say what I feel. But again, I will just say to you guys on the panel, if you still feel that I was trying to force my opinions down your throats, I'm not. I'm actually hoping that you will just see what I'm trying to say and see where I'm coming from. And I think you are now slowly, but seeing where I'm coming from. Again, we'll wait till 73 yards comes out, the doctor in this episode. We'll see how Millie does. I will admit one thing, they do have great chemistry. I'm not sold on them yet, but they do have great chemistry, and it'll be nice to see now, even though I do agree with Cinnamon, having a Dr. Light episode does seem a bit weird, but it will be nice to see Millie come into her own and see what she can actually bring to the table. Give her the opportunity maybe to shine. Because Rose, companions in the RTD era do get their moments to shine. And this will be no different. So, let's see what this 73 yards is all about. I reckon she's 73 yards away from her mother. I said this earlier. I reckon it's whoever this person is. Because remember, she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know who her parents are. So whatever this is, this has got to do with our family. And she's probably 73 yards away from her own fucking mother. Her father doesn't even read.
We've all saw the picture, didn't we? And we all said, "Oh, who's that in the background?" And we all speculated. I mean, we even went, "Oh, is it Susan again?" But is this person, or is it a completely new character? I think it's
exactly.
I could be wrong, but I think it's actually herself. Because there's different Millies or different Rubies in the episode.
She looks different, doesn't she? Like she's aged almost.
Yeah, and if you remember the trailer, there was different versions of her. There was very quickly, you have to watch that frame by frame. There was one where she was quite sophisticated and she had glasses on, she had nice hair. And then there was one where she looked like she just woke up. And then there was another one of her on like in a field. So there's different Rubies, and I think this may be playing into my theory that there's and unfortunately, I don't want to say this, but I think this whole big storyline that Russell's going for this season is unfortunately multiverses, because that's the big thing at the minute. That's the big trendy thing. Disney's doing that with the Marvel stuff anyway. Everyone loves a good old multiverse. I was playing Starfield, which I really enjoyed, and I shouldn't really spoil it, but there's an element of that into that game, which I thought, well, that's just brought it down a bit. Because it's so boring. Multiverses are so boring. They're so unoriginal. Everyone's doing them. And I feel like that's what's going to happen now. So when we saw things like, again, when Ruby stepped on the butterfly and she turned into that big creature, I think that was a Ruby from a different universe. And in this different universe...
Okay,
Ruby
here's a question, Cinnamon. Is that why... Because I had an issue with that scene because I thought it was
really
badly written. Do you think he wrote it on purpose... that it felt out of place because of this multiverse possible? Because to me, it just struck out and it did not fit in the episode writing-wise at all.
Well, if you understand the
butterfly effect, when you watch it, it does look awkward. Why is a whole effort being made? Like, it's quite weird because you could have just looked at the dinosaurs that went back in, but everything's done for a reason. Why have they spent so much effort to put her in costume, to put her in this makeup? I believe, and when we were talking about IDs on the Centipede, I said, maybe air stepping on that butterfly somehow shifted from like phased one way, a bit like how in Pete's World, all they had to do was press the button and then they were in Pete's World. Something similar to that. I think the crossing in, I think there's a bleeding effect of one universe sort of, fusing into another. So when Ruby does that, steps on the butterfly, changes an important bit of history, so things change. So I think, again, a Ruby in a different universe then somehow, again, maybe bleeds through. Obviously, the dots aren't quite there yet, but there's a different Ruby out there, and then when he fixes it, brings the butterfly back to life, then it reverts back again. And I think there's an element of that, and maybe with the snow as well. I think that's unfortunately. I don't want it to be that, by the way. Again, like I said, multiverses are so boring, but again with trends. Again, like I said, Russell's chasing trends, and I feel like that's a casualty of one of them. Unfortunately, I think I hope it isn't because God,
Right. Well, let's get into the rate. We won't do the back because we've covered everything. I don't want to get it because I'll start ranting again. And to be quite honest with you, I think overall you are kind of pretty happy enough with the episode. It did have its issues and all of that, but I kind of explained the issues and people in the chat have. So we don't need to get into it because we know. So I'll ask you for user ratings for this story. And just to remind people, actually, Quid, Charlotte, what did you give the first 2 episodes, just to give a bit of a comparison before you give your rating for Boom?
I'm trying to remember now.
No, I don't remember.
I'll go back and see what you said. Give me a second.
Here we go. This is now where I'm going to look like an idiot. Here we go.
I believe.
Because I do remember that you gave the first episode a low rating, but you did believe that there was a slight improvement, and I think if I give it a set, I think it was a 7 actually. You gave.
What, for Space Babies?
Yeah, I think it was that high. Yeah, hold on, I'll tell you now. I think you gave it a 7, and then you said if you gave that a 7, you'd have to give Devil's Cord a lower rating because you thought that was
I gave Devil's Cord a lower one. I can remember that. I'm blanking on the actual numbers.
Right, well, hold on. I'll find out now. Hold on, where are we? Live episodes. Here we go. Where is it? Well, it'd be good if I was on the right fucking channel, wouldn't it? And I didn't switch my fucking account, asshole. Because I think when she gave her rating, a lot of people were surprised in the fucking chat. I think you did. I think you gave this one of the highest ratings, actually, Charlotte. Hold on, where is it? Here we go. Boom, the Space Baby. So I need to go to the end of this where we're doing the ratings. So let's see.
I think I'll give it like an 8.
Hold on. See, Lee is talking, So
I give it nil point. There we go.
I will be watching Steve.
God, I have to hear myself now.
Well, hold on. Where's the ratings?
London accent, yeah.
Right, there you are talking about the Space Babies there. Stupid power. Hold on. Damn, I should really put the transcripts on these fucking streams, man.
I love this. We're all waiting for my score, and it's like...
I can't tell you. I don't know where we did the ratings because we could have done the ratings an hour ago.
No, I'll be very surprised if I gave it a 7. I'd be very surprised.
Oh, here we go. So, Cinnamon gave it a 5.
Which one?
Space Babies.
I can't give it a 5.
Oh, you gave the Devil's Cord a 5. Well, yeah.
I was going to say, I remember giving that a 5.
Hold on, then the ratings are back here. Right, so he gave the Devil's Cord a 5. So what would you give Boom? I'll ask you because I've got your rating. What would you give it?
If I remember correctly, I give Space Babies maybe a 7. I might be wrong on that, but that's my general thinking. I would give Boom a 9.
Right. That's a big jump from your fucking 5 for fucking the Devil's Cord. Well done. Lee is still talking. Sorry, folks. I'm just waiting for fucking Lee to shut up so we can get to the next person.
On 2 speed or whatever it is.
Push the right cursor key to make it jump forward by 5 seconds.
Well, what are you giving it, PD?
What, this one?
Yeah.
I gave it nil point last time. I'm going to probably give this one a 5 because it was a nice vision into what we could have had during the Capaldi season. That's the only reason.
Yeah, well,
Right.
Dada Debaser, unlike IGN, I can give views or ratings under a 6. When has IGN ever giving anything under a 6? I mean,
7.
there's literally a meme about them, isn't it? There's a little something for everyone.
See,
Right.
I would think I would have given Space Babies like a 5. That's what I would have thought I would have given it.
I'm pretty sure I'd have to go back and watch the whole stream again. But I'm pretty sure you're in agreement with Cinnamon the first
No,
week.
I can remember Cinnamon gave it a higher score than me.
Oh, I will have. Yeah, I can.
If
I can
Cinnamon
absolutely agree with
gave
that.
it like
I would
a
have definitely
7,
given it
I would have been lower than Cinnamon.
Either I give it a 7 and you give it a 6, or I give it an 8 and you give it a 7. Because I definitely remember being the highest one.
Yeah, I was lower than Cinnamon, definitely on Space Babies.
Right, well, okay, we'll give you that. I can't because Lee keeps talking. So, what is your rating for Boom?
Because I think off what I feel like, or I felt like after Space Babies, I think I would have given it around a 5. Because my memory's terrible for scores and numbers. So like I said, I enjoyed Boom so much more. So I'll give it an 8.
Right, so we got a 9 from Cinnamon. We got a 8 from Queen Charlotte. It's up to you now, PD. What are you giving it?
I just said it.
What?
0, I think.
5.
Oh, you gave a 5. So we've had a 5, a 7, and a 9. And I'm giving it a 0.
Just like me last week. Yeah.
So let's see what people in the chat have to say.
I think you gave it -10 and -10 last time, so that's
the 0 is an improvement. So maybe next week, maybe Saturday I'll give it a 1 or something. You never know.
The only reason I didn't get a 10 is because it had some flaws. Otherwise, I would have given it a 10. Otherwise,
no, it's grand. You don't have to explain your rating. It's your rating, and it's true to yourself, as you said. But YW2324 gives it a 5 out of 10. President Lemon has actually given it a 4.5 out of 10. The way you were speaking earlier on, I thought you were going to give this a fucking 0. But there you go. But there you go. 5s and 4.5s. The Lees up. There's Daniel. Well, if he was here, we'd be here all night. You're right. We got a 1.5 out of 10 there as well. So that's probably the lowest rating. And Raymond's not happy with people there. 9 is ridiculous. That's excellent territory. No flaws, and Boom had flaws. I mean, look, people are going to rate. I mightn't agree with a 9 that Cinnamon is giving it either, but that's what he sees it as. And he is right. You know, that's why I've kind of reeled myself back in again. I'm not trying to tell people how they should rate these. They rate them the way they see it. And he sees it as a 9, and that's fair enough. I don't get it, and I don't see it as a 9, and I don't understand why he sees it as a 9. That's his opinion. And he's
this is up there. If I was to compare, this is up there. This episode's like Flatline for me. Mummy on the Orient Express, because there's a lot of, Capaldi was a fantastic doctor. I'm sure we'd all agree there, but he didn't have some of the bestest of scripts. I would consider this as one of the better stuff that Russell Moffat has written. Not the best. Again, I would say that the Angel 2-parter that I mentioned is better than this. For example, I think 11th Hour. That's better than this story.
I've got one for you, right? Tell me if you think it was better or worse, right? And it's a Whittaker Chibnall era episode, right? So I'm going to throw a curveball at you here. Right. So Village of the Angels. Do you think that Boom was better than Village of the Angels? Because I remember we all really.
Because you remember you didn't like what it did to the Angels.
Well, that's true. You are right. He did do some new things with the Angels that we didn't like.
We both were like, "What are you playing at with that?"
I would still say, and if you remember, if you go back to that when we reviewed that episode of Influx. I remember it was a good panel. I think I was the one that liked it the most. That was probably one of my more favourite episodes of the Jodie era. I would still say this is better. Just again, purely, I think Shooty just notches it up a bit. I think that was one of Somebody's better performance. I mean, again, I watched Sleep No More the other day, and I was bored. I was literally. I watched it because me and my girlfriend are watching the show at the minute. I'm introducing her to it, and I don't want to skip episodes. I thought, well, if I'm going to be showing her the Whittaker here, I can't skip Capaldi. I was that bored watching Sleep No More. I didn't even get it by then. I need to watch it again. I don't know. I was tired. I'm so boring.
Look, the one thing I will say is when this whole run ends, I will actually go back and binge watch this whole series on my own, and then we'll give my final report on it, like I said I would do. So that's my plan. I will end up binge watching the whole lot of this when it's all.
I watched Series 7, and I think I said to Charlotte at one time, I watched episodes like The Woman Who Waited from Series 6, and I thought it actually baffled me how much I enjoyed that. I haven't seen that in years.
Yeah, you said that about a few, actually.
And the journey from the center of the TARDIS, I thought that was amazing. I thought these are episodes that I thought were quite duds or boring.
Yeah.
Or maybe I watched it once and never really saw it again for a long time. And I thought, wow, that was actually a really good mix, because Series 5 for me, a lot of people, when people say the golden era, they'll just say, Series 1 to 4. Whereas I personally like to include the Moffat's first one in that. I think Series 6.
Oh, I did like Moffat's first 2 seasons.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his second season gets a lot of stick, but I actually
think they bring it back a little bit. Series 7, they finally get a sort of good mix of the sort of. It was less fairy tale, I think, even though Clara was a bit fairy tale. Especially that bloody leaf or whatever that was all about. But
the most important leaf in the universe.
Yeah, or Hyde.
Never mentioned again.
Hyde, where there was like a creature in the woods. Again, that one I thought I was quite surprised actually how good some of the episodes in Series 7 were actually. But yeah, some of the Capaldi eras is like, especially the one about the Ishilda one with the lion or whatever that was about.
And in the Forest of the Night. Oh, I hate
yeah,
that one.
I mean, I'm again, if this is your opinion, fair enough. But I have strong concerns if someone was to really put that into the Forest of the Night above Boom. I mean, again, take away all the white noise, just judge it purely on the episodes. I see JWC actually suggested that Fear Her was better than Boom. Fair enough. I think Fear, a story on a council estate. It was what it was. It was the episode they picked out. I mean, we could have actually had an episode written by Stephen Fry, and that was going to be that episode, I think.
Yes.
They picked it out of a hat or something, if I remember correctly. And yeah, because I think it was in Confidential, or they accidentally confirmed it. Or David Tennant said it in one of his video diaries. Oh yeah, we've got Stephen Fry on set. For whatever reason, that didn't happen.
So it was a rush job, wasn't it, for her to get an episode written?
Yeah, so, I suppose, again, I met this point before, you wouldn't compare The Doctor and the Widow and the Wardrobe to Caves of Androzani, because they're just two different stories. So I find it always difficult comparing stories, because some stories just shouldn't be compared, like that one, for example. Again, yeah, I agree. Was Capaldi great in The Forest of the Night? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I just hated the story.
But, Danny Pink and the little girl that goes missing, that seems more. That felt like more of a Doctor Who magazine comic strips kind of story, really, rather than a full TV episode.
Doctor Who
But
does
then again, some people might say, I saw some people say that about this episode. I saw some people say, I can't remember where, but I'm sure I saw somebody say that Boom would have been a great big finish, probably story, maybe, rather than a TV one, and that's fair enough, I suppose. But yeah.
Maybe. Anyway, look, we'll leave it there. 2 hours or something. Fucking hell. I said I was here for 45 minutes, but there you go. I know. I just came on angry, right? And I had to get things off my chest, because you know me, I can't just sit here and not get these things on. So I've got it out of my system now. But you know what, RTD, I've just got a message for you, right? You're running out of chances here. And I have to say you're running out of chances. So, 73 yards now is on you. You've written this story now. Now, I really do. I hope this is the best because you picked this up. You said this is the best thing you've ever written. Period.
He did actually. Yeah, he did.
Right?
I remember that.
So, if this is the best thing you've written and you've admitted it and it turns out to be shite, well then I think we can all safely assume that after 73 yards, it's gone downhill very fucking
You know what?
quickly.
You know what then? If that's what he said, okay then. If this is the best thing you've ever written, and I think he also said there's a certain. I think at the end there's a scene with Shooty apparently, and he said that everybody on set went.
Oh yeah, that's what Millie talked about.
Scene, he said something about the scene that he proved to everyone he saw the Doctor, and Russell's again tarting it up, saying this is the best thing I've ever written. That's strong words.
Yeah.
So also,
He shouldn't have said it. He shouldn't have said it because he's setting them up for a fail now.
Yeah, because if that's what he's saying, then we will hold him to that standard because he put himself on that standard. If that was me saying this is the best jacket that I've ever wore, and then I wear a better one, he'd be like, well, what was all that about last week?
Well,
Exactly.
Yeah. Like if he's like when it gets to finale time, no, this is my best episode. It's like we said
Yeah.
about.
It's like you'll keep changing the goalpost. Then it's like, well, no, you said that this episode is the best thing you've ever written, so we'll hold you to that standard. And
He said 73 yards. For anybody that doesn't know, he did say 73 yards was the best thing that he's written. Millie has bigged it up. Shooty has even bigged it up. The media are giving a 4 out of 5 stars. The reviewers, the ones that do the non-spoiler reviews, are all giving it 4 out of 5. There's not actually one rating that I've seen that's under 3. They're all giving this a high rating and saying not only is it's the most unusual episode of Doctor Who, one reviewer said as well. Now, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, we're about to find out on Saturday. And you'll see me here Saturday at 12 o'clock because, that's the sacrifices I make for all you guys. I actually come on and I devastate myself while I'm watching these things just for you. Anyway, I will be back at 12 at midnight. Well, we go 11:45, 15 minutes before. So join me for 73 yards, and let's hope it's an improvement on Boom. And if this is the turning point for the season, right, and it ends up being good after that, then I will say, you know what, RTD mixed bag, lots of room for improvement, but you know what, I'm willing to give you another season to see what you could do. But he has to now, as far as I'm concerned, as a Doctor Who fan, from what I've seen so far, from now on, he has to hit every episode out in the park. There cannot be a mediocre episode now. This has to be top of the range Doctor Who for the next 4. And if he can do that, if he can actually pull that off, well, then he'll get people to come back for season 2, and then hopefully if the standard then gets better then in season 2, and he maintains it, gets better, then he might be able to win this fandom over. But right now, I say it's 50-50, right? Just to be generous.
Yes, 50-50. I would. Yeah, we're a bit everywhere at the moment as a fandom when it comes to what we're feeling with these episodes.
Exactly, because some are going to like, as you said, some are going to absolutely hate it. And it's polarizing for the fan now because we were all in unison when it came to the Whittaker era. We all hated the same things. We all hated the set. You know what I mean? But it's different this time around. The Cinnamon says it is actually different, and that's something I'm going to have to get used to. But please, guys, all I say is, if these last 4 episodes end up being the same quality as the first 4. Please, come on now. You will have to fucking agree with me that I'm right, that this needs something different, because we can't go on like this. We certainly can't.
We can't have a whole series of space babies and devil's calls.
Exactly. So let's see what he brings. So let's do the round the panel as usual. I know PD has been putting all the channels in as I've been talking. So we're going to go to the Queen first, then we'll go to Cinnamon, and then I'll hand you over to the very good Mr. PD Rich and the Rolodex. Let's hope he doesn't forget anything. Let's see how many he forgets this week. I bet you he forgets my channels. Anyway,
Yours
let's
is in
hand
there.
it over to the Queen.
Yep, so Type 40 Live, we will be fully discussing the viewing figures tomorrow night, as we've all sort of had our take between ourselves, and we want to have a proper discussion on stream. So that's going to be a big chunk of the stream, and current news and anything that's floating around. So, and our usual sort of bit of nostalgia with the diary and all that fun stuff. So check us out tomorrow. I recorded with Simon and Dan our Space Babies review for the podcast this week. So keep your eyes out for that. And all I'll say is lots of different views on that. So that was a really good one.
See, that's what I mean. Polarizing, folks. This is what the RTD is going to us all.
Oh, yes.
He's
Right.
polarized the fandom, and he was supposed to come in and fix that.
Whereas, like our church and Ruby Road, we were all pretty much quite positive. I will say, without giving too much away, not like that for this reviews podcast we recorded during the week. So keep your eyes out for that, and the other ones when we record them, because we're sort of taking the approach of we're taking a bit of time with the podcast reviews, and we're sort of not wanting to instantly do them because we want a bit of time to settle and sort of get our thoughts. So that's the process we're doing at the moment. Yeah, so keep your eyes out on for Thursday then, and for the podcast, which I'll be reviewing with Dan and other guests. And you'll catch me here on Wednesdays.
Fantastic. Well, I'm glad I haven't fallen out at anybody. So that's great. Charlotte will be back next week. Anyway, let's hand you over to Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the most optimistic and the most, honest. I have to say, do you know what? It is a bit refreshing to have someone on here that isn't, 100% like, nah, this is shite, right? I like that. I do like different opinions. It gets me thinking as well. But I just got to say it, I do think yous are all wrong.
Of course, you
Right.
do.
No.
But you know what? I'm not a dictator. I'm a nice person. So you can have his own opinions for this week. But next week at this shit, and yes, I mean, come on. I mean,
No, we're not having this again. We're not having this whole debate again on stream.
No. Do you know what? 73 yards is shite. I'm just going to come on and say, right, tell me what you thought of it. And then I'll tell you what I think, and then I'll just leave it there. And if people don't agree with me, and we don't agree with it, we'll just forget about it. You know what? At the end of the day, I'm not going to fall out with people that I've been doing panels with over a TV show. You know what I mean? There's more important things in life than fucking Doctor Who. Let's be honest. At this stage now, there is. But we'll hand you over to Cinnamon, who's been a great addition to this panel, and I'm loving your contribution on here. So I just want to say that to you just now in front of everybody. It's a pleasure having you on. So I want you now to let people know where they can find you and what you have up and coming on your channel, because I know you have been doing some streams on your channel.
Yeah, I'm the one that brings the smiles, isn't it? And the laugh, really, isn't it? I think it's me and Dan, really, isn't it? We're probably the most optimistic people in the fandom right now. I'm quite interested to see what he thinks.
I'm motivator.
Yeah, he loved Space Baby, so I'm interested to what he thinks about Boom. But again, so check that out in Type 40 tomorrow. I'll be there. See you there. For me, of course, you'll find me on Cinnamon Toast Crunch on my channel. We've been doing a bit of a multicast streaming, me and Brendan. So it's
When
on
it
his
works.
stream. Stream was on, yeah, when it works. We had a bit of technical difficulties. That's why Boom wasn't there. So the Space Babies is there, but Boom wasn't because of issues with links, and we were on the different. Oh yeah, bleh, boring stuff. But yeah, if you want to follow me, if you want to listen to more of my delusional rants, then you can go on Cinnamon Toast Crunch on the YouTube and on the Twitter, on the X. Sorry. Everyone's doing
Just
that.
call it Twitter. We all call it Twitter. Just call it Twitter X. Elon's a fucking
bot app.
anyway.
The bot app. That's what I call it. The bot app. Bots
Right.
everywhere. Bot city. But yeah.
Anyway, we'll hand you over to the Rolodex now, which is PD Rich. So, PD, impress us with your skills.
Well, most of them are in a chat, but I just want to call out Rabbi. I'll be on Rabbi's channel every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday when I can, just to moderate in the chat. And could you all go and subscribe to my good friend Wookie Fever, because he's still trying to get a few subscribers. He's doing well. He's been going for ages now. 3 years.
Wookie?
Yeah, work's been going. Wookie Fever. He does a show.
I'm subscribed to the channel, but
he's only got a handful of subs. I'm like, Wookie, you've been going for like 3 years, mate. Where's all your subs?
what the fuck? Yeah, I mean, hold on.
I think we've all forgotten about Wookie Fever.
I think we fucking have.
Oh, YouTube's been taking them away
Oh,
slowly.
there he is. Wookie Fever presents. He's got 141 subscribers. What the fuck? Yeah, I am subscribed to him now.
Right now.
Right, Wacky's channel in there again. Listen, let's get Wookie up there. He's here years, man. Get him up to fucking 200 subscribers, man.
I know. I mean, I looked at the other day and thought, what the hell's happened to your channel, mate? You should have about 200 or 300 by now. Or 5 at the max. But it's just, no one subscribed to our old friend Wookie.
Well, if he wants anybody to come on his streams and all of that shit, sure, I can let people know that I'm on his streams and all that. We'll get more people coming in and watching them like we've done for other channels here. So, yeah, I seen him in the chat there earlier. Like, that'll be Wookie. Next time you're in here, man, just fucking whack your channel. You got me permission. Just whack your fucking channel in there, man. Get it in there. You know? We like to help. I can't believe that. I thought Wookie was on. I thought Wookie had 100,000 fucking subscribers, man.
600 by now, but he's only got like a handful of subscribers. I'm like, what the hell? Doesn't anyone like the stories about cryptids?
I don't know what the fuck is going on there, but look, we'll hopefully we've drawn some attention to his channel. Go and sub Wookie Fever there. PD has put it in again. Scottish Stavros and Friends, Wrestling with Pop Culture, Jack Nain, Aldred Audio Visual, Lobster. We've got Sean from the Nerdaholics as well. Go and support them. Obviously, Charlotte has mentioned Dan, Type 40. Who else have we got? I'm just trying to think of all these names off the top of my fucking head.
Oh, Clobby was in tonight. So give Clobby
Who?
Clobby was at Clobber Times is in tonight, so I gave Clobby a link as well.
Yeah, Clobby as well. Yeah, fucking right.
Brandon
Clobby has been doing reviews of. I seen him there a couple of months ago. He's doing reviews of Voyager, which, as you know, I'm actually a huge fan of. So I did check out some of these streams. I just don't go into the chat because what normally happens now when I go into chats like that, everybody gets fucking distracted, and I just everybody wants to say hello, which I don't mind. But you're single-handedly trying to say hello to every single fucking person in the chat. You know what I mean?
I know that one. Being a mod, I know that one. Oh, hi there.
Well, that's what I mean.
Hello, hi.
Because when you write in "hi all," someone will say, "Oh, how are you doing?" Oh, blah, 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 and then half the fuck, and then someone else will add a question, and then But yeah. So, is there any other channels that we're forgetting?
Nerdaholics, because they've been on Daniel's channel.
Yeah, we did Nerdaholics. We did Nerdaholics, and Brendan. Cinnamon did mention the Sense Sphere there as well, Daniel. Don't worry, the Sense Sphere has already been mentioned.
Daniel as well.
Yeah, we're just trying to take the channels we haven't mentioned right now. I think we've covered everybody.
The main.
And if I haven't, I'm sorry, but we'll do it next week. Because remember, as I said, we're only doing the shout out once a week now. It's no point to do it because everybody knows who these people are. If you haven't subscribed to them now, like why? It's been 6 years now, guys. Come on.
Time.
Anyway, I'm off because I'm actually missing the Europa League final. Believe it or not, in Dublin. And Bayer Leverkusen are actually losing to Atalanta 2-0 at the moment. Just the score. Yeah, I think it's 2-0. So Bayer Leverkusen, who went unbeaten in the Bundesliga, are getting beaten. So I'm going to watch the second half, which is already 10 minutes in, and chill and relax for the night now because I've been busy. I've done another live stream on the X account, the Noel Zone. Also, I have a new X account. It's called, hold on, because it's a bit of a mouthful. and I'm the one that came up with the name. So it's called the Irish Community Volunteer Group. And if you're Irish, I'm looking for you guys. Basically, I don't believe that the nationalists have the best interests of Irish people in their hearts. So, and I think that their planning is all over the place. So what I've done is I've said exactly what I was going to do. I have basically put myself forward, and I am now trying to rally Irish citizens all over the country to come and join me. If you join the X account, there'll be further details. I'm going to be having a meeting with a nationalist over the next couple of weeks, and we're going to come up with a viable plan on to stop the plantation happening in other communities, because I see the nationalist movement, they'll wait until a place is planted before they take action, and I'm not willing to wait till these things happen to take action. We should be there to stop these places from happening in the first place. So on a way, obviously I explained this earlier today. The stream is up on the X account if you want to listen to what I have to actually say. But basically the gist is this: we're going to wait until the end of the local elections to see how many nationalists have actually got in. We're going to assess the situation. We're going to assess the sites that the government have earmarked, and we're going to come up with a viable plan of action, because we're not going to wait until these places get filled up, because then you'll have more places like you'll have more incidents like Newtown, Mount Kennedy, and I want to prevent that from happening, and I want to prevent Irish people from being attacked by state bullies. So if you believe in what I'm doing, go and join me on that X account. As I said, it's called the Irish Community Volunteer Group. And basically, if you follow me, you're basically agreeing to volunteer to go around this country with people like myself into communities that need our help to stop the plantation from happening in their communities. So if you agree with that and agree that we should come up with a more viable plan, that's the group for you on X. Also, I'm on the Irish Zone on YouTube, but right now I've gotten another ban, right? So I've only set this chat, as you know, I rebranded this channel, right? I'm only gone, since the rebrand, I've only been gone 3 weeks, and I'm already on my second community strike, which means if I get a third one, I lose the channel altogether. I've never lost a YouTube channel, and I nearly lost this one, but never lost it, but nearly did. But I'm on the verge of losing that one. So I have to keep my nose clean. I've got a ban now for 2 weeks, so I think I'm 3 days into it now. Right? So I put up a video about COVID, and apparently it was misinformation, even though I actually sent them a document that showed what your man was talking about was actually true. But because YouTube are such dictators and hate freedom of speech, they basically told me that no, the ban is staying in place. So because I had one previous and only came back from that one, this is the second one. So now I can't stream for 2 weeks. But do and subscribe there, because like the last time, I'm keeping all the video footage. I will have my own video footage to throw up as well, and there'll be plenty of live streams going on. For now, the live streams are on the X account on the Noel Zone. I've done 2 so far. I'll be streaming again tomorrow, so come and join me. I've got plenty to talk about. There's plenty going on in this country, and yeah, I'm stepping up now, and I'm doing what I have to do, and that's it basically. And I'm going to feck off now, and I'm going to tell you all to feck off. Enjoy the rest of your evening, right? It's horrible out there. It's raining. I might actually go out and have a shower now. It's raining. Free water, you know. Don't be using the electric. Do you know what I mean? So I'll get out there with me Lynx shower gel now and have a bit of a wash in the rain. You know, save on the electricity bill. Listen, some people actually do that. But anyway, we'll leave it there, folks. Any of you guys got anything to add before we leave?
No.
Not really. No.
Okay.
No,
see that they don't like you, folks. They want us to back off now. See that's horrible, isn't it? At least I try to stay. When I say goodbye, I stay here for about a half an hour saying goodbye to you. Right? Yeah. These people say goodbye and they go straight away. Anyway, good luck with us. And we'll talk just for the next one. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.